Oh, damn it.
Him and Ryan Felipe.
Yeah. Oh, he exists. I forgot he exists.
Yeah, dude, he was in MacGruber too, but as like MacGruber's sidekick.
Oh, God.
You remember that?
No, I remember you trying to get me to watch MacGruber and me getting 10 minutes into it and just saying, I can't do this, Scott.
It's so fucking funny. Are you kidding me? It's so good.
Oh, no. Was it too lowbrow for you?
Ryan Felipe. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was.
Yeah, he was in like Cruel Intentions when he was a sister kisser. Oh, this is a theme. We're getting a theme going on this.
3 sister kisser weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Was it step siblings or something? And he really wanted to bone, right? Was that the gist?
It was Sarah Michelle Gellar. But in all fairness, if Sarah Michelle Gellar was your stepsister,
no, don't say it. You can't take this back.
If she was your stepsister, you'd be a walking Brazzers video every goddamn day at breakfast, bro. There's no way. Like, oh, step bro, what are you doing? Fucking that ass. Shut up. Eat your Fruit Loops. Mind your business. I'm busy back here.
We have some leftover pizza, but there's a hole in the box.
Yeah. My new favorite kind of porn is the one where like the stepmom is just stuck in a dryer. Like for some reason
she's so fucking clueless every time.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing back there? Is that the dog?
You hear the macaroni sounds. You know what's going on, okay?
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm trying to fuck you in the pussy, but you're not coming loose. I better try fucking you in the ass. She's like, if you think that'll work, you're like, this father clearly married you for your looks and not your IQ. Like, I guess
it's like I can really tell you're trying your hardest back there to do nothing else but get me free from this nightmare.
But also, could you imagine if we take the porn, like the movie magic out of the equation? Do you imagine your dad marrying someone that fucking stupid and how would you hate your dad forever? Like,
yeah, imagine the real life version of that. It's really grim. You just have to deal with a fucking dumbass in the house all the time.
Yeah.
It's a real nightmare.
Not only is she stuck in the washer and dryer, but she doesn't even know how to do her own clothes without getting stuck. I mean, like, she probably gets stuck in the fridge, stuck under the bed, can't get out of her seatbelt in the car. Like, imagine that phone call. You have to get out of your fucking... Maybe you're cranking one out to a mom stuck under a bed video on Brazzers.com, and now you gotta fucking put your pants back on, tuck your boner up, walk outside. It's cold. You gotta go open the driver's side door and undo the seatbelt for this dumb bitch that your dad married.
I like how you mentioned the flip and tuck technique in there. You just snuck it in there. That's I'm something of an expert of the flip and tuck.
Oh, God. We all mastered the flip and tuck in like junior high.
Under the belt loop, shirt goes over, under over.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, baby. You're nobody knows a thing. You're gonna be all right.
Nope.
The flip and tuck.
And if they can spot your boner with the flip and tuck, it means they're looking way too hard, and you get to call them out for staring at your dick.
Yeah,
it's
at that point it's just rude.
Yeah. It's like.
This is amazing content, boys, and that means that I should start the podcast. So welcome to the Cynical Nerd, episode 12. Yeah, 12 sounds right. Boys, we have just an incredible amount of stuff to cover. There was a Disney investor call, and because Disney owns everything in the world right now, that means we get everything in the world for news. So we have a ton of Star Wars news, a ton of Marvel news, and then our main topic is Marvel. So we could not be shilling any harder for the company of the House of Mouse this week. If this podcast had a hometown, it would be Shill Cincinnati. If we were a movie, it would be Shill Bill Volume 2. If this was an album,
that's good. That's fucking good.
I wrote them down. If this podcast was an album from the 90s, it would be Jagged Little Shill.
God damn. Yes.
If we were a music artist today, we would be Meek Shills. Okay, so.
Oh my God.
With that being said, my name is Chris. I am your host. I am joined, as always, by Derek and Scott. Derek, how are you today?
I'm doing excellently, especially after that just chill streak that you were on. That was just excellent. Good stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, he did it.
I already cried. Oh my God. Scott, how are you doing today?
Oh my God. Chris is over here shilling them softly. And, I'm not so sure there's gonna be a lot of shilling going on because there's so much going on that it's hard to be excited about most of it. But I'm doing, yeah,
Is it like overwhelming?
I'm doing okay though. I'm a little tired, but we're gonna see if this rum right here will wake me up. We're doing a shot of the Kraken.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, the Kraken. All right, we're gonna get right into it. So, like I said, the Disney investor call. It's a poor choice.
Yeah.
Well, you did get imported all the way over to Italy. Little inside joke for those on YouTube. Yeah. I don't even know where the Kraken gets made. Unimportant.
Not
Back
Italy.
To task.
Sure as fucking Italy.
Definitely not. We can cancel out Italy for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the Star Wars news. And first up in the list is, we've talked about this recently because we talk about Star Wars so frequently on this podcast, but they're making a Cassian Andor series called Andor, surprise, cleverly spelled with the Rebel symbol for the O, which it was like the obvious choice, but it also works pretty well. And they released a sizzle reel. It wasn't a full trailer because I believe they're just starting production, but they announced it's coming out 2022, of course, to Disney Plus. And this is the stuff that we talked about. I mean, I before I have one of you guys talk about it for a second, I think I speak for all of us when I say that I think I'm going to love this series for the same reason that I love Rogue One, and for the same reason that I loved this week's Mandalorian episode, spoiler, because it shows the dark and gritty side of the rebellion. And again, we've gone over this previous podcast, so I won't dwell on it, but the quote from Cassian Andor was, "Everything I did for the rebellion." And it just got me, the sizzle reel itself just got me pumped, even though it was like 99% Rogue One footage.
Yeah. Because
it was a good time. Scott, how'd you feel about the sizzle?
I mean, we literally talked about this last week, so I feel like I'm running on empty for excitement for it. But this is one of the ones that I'm more curious to see how it's going to play out. I mean, Diego Luna is a great actor. I actually went back and watched Rogue One this week after we talked about it last week because I had this itch where I had to scratch it. Yeah. And even like watching it for like the 20th time, all those deaths still sting so much, and I can't imagine what an opportunity for world building this will be, because it could fall flat, but I think if it's done correctly, it could be one of those things where you watch it through and it has that same effect as the Clone Wars does on Revenge of the Sith, where it just doubles down on that ache in your heart you feel when you see all these people who you are already so attached to in a 2.5 hour long movie, right? Make a sacrifice like that.
Yeah, Derek, how'd it hit you?
I mean, really, it's not a trailer. It was really just like Diego Luna talking about how he feels about it. And so all that I really got from it was that he's clearly super impassioned about it, which is great. I think that when you have actors, especially the lead, who like really care about the project and it's more than just a paycheck, sometimes even the show around it can be like somewhat acceptable, but their performance kind of lifts it up. I think that's the case with like The Witcher with Henry Cavill. The show is like, it's good enough, but he makes it a little better. He sort of lifts it up just with how much he loved. You can tell he loves what he's doing. Other than that, I mean, there's nothing that was like featured there that we kind of didn't already talk about. I'm sort of on the fence about it, but I do anticipate it. That's about it.
Word. Yeah. Okay. Again, we have a ton of topics, but these are probably all going to be quick hits like this because most of them. Some of them are literally just fucking titles. Some of them we've got nothing but a sizzle reel. I am interested, and I'm getting ahead of myself, to see Derek's thoughts on some of the Marvel stuff, because I feel like he should like some of it, and I feel like he's not gonna. So we'll see when we get there. But before we do, we have some news that we all expected was happening, but it's super fucking exciting to get the confirmation. We are officially getting an Ahsoka spinoff with Rosario Dawson, which will no doubt feature her search for Thrawn and therefore Ezra Bridger. Which is a reason I think it might put a little more stock into the theory that he's the one that shows up at the end of Mando. I don't know. It could go either way. It could. You would think that maybe they wouldn't show him if her whole voyage is going to be looking for him. But it's hard to say. It could be like a teaser. I don't know. Who knows? But besides Ahsoka, we also got confirmation that they're going to be making a new series, which we had no idea about, called Rangers of the New Republic. Now, it's set in the same timeline of The Mandalorian, so somewhere after Return of the Jedi, a couple years. They don't say who's going to be in it. They didn't say the stars of it. The article that we're reading off of from Slash Film speculated it might have something to do with Cara Dune. I think absolutely not. I cannot see Disney putting someone as controversial as she has been recently on social media in more and more shit and potentially getting themselves just completely tied to this person who's been saying terrible things about people. But that being said, how do you guys feel about these two announcements? And since I did Scott first last time, I'll do Derek this time.
That's how fair and balanced of you, Chris. Let me just start with that. That's very just meeting it out as fairly as you can.
Well, you have 2 minutes, and if you go over, I'm muting you, Mike.
So, I mean, I think the Ahsoka thing was a good move. Everybody kind of saw that coming. You get a big title actress like Rosario Dawson. She generally stars in films. She's not like a tertiary character. I'm really just excited for it because now, like, the thing I was worried about is that Mandalorian may become bloated with like just injecting all these characters into it. So now it's like you can isolate it. Like, all right, well, we introduced Ahsoka. Everybody loved it. So now she has her own thing. So if you liked her, she has a show that you can watch and you can see sort of her path without her sort of, wearing out her welcome, on Mandalorian.
Or taking over the spotlight. Because that's taking over the spotlight, concern,
So that's cool. As far as the Rangers of the Republic, it seems like there's not a whole lot of info on that yet about who it's going to be around. As much as Cara Dune would be kind of, soft boner tactics, I just hope it's not about the two, like in episode 2 of season 2 of Mandalorian, those two guys that like chased him down. Just don't let it be about them. That's all. I just don't build them up for their own show. You
don't want like a show set around a bunch of Rangers of the New Republic who all have dad bod? Like,
right. And they're all just space cops, just like pulling over harmless people doing really nothing wrong.
I'm just picturing cops, but like in the Star Wars universe now, where like it's just like like old man Ben Kenobi is just like clearly he's been drinking and he's driving a speeder around Mos Eisley.
And they're like, we know this guy. He's not too bad. We don't want to give him a hard time. We just got to make sure.
You've been sipping that blue milk today, sir? Yeah.
Scott, how do you feel about this?
Honestly, the Ahsoka, I mean, like Derek said, it's really it's not a huge surprise. We all kind of had that in the back of our heads. It's probably going to be a spinoff at some point.
Right.
Based on the critical success of Mandalorian alone, it's a no-brainer they would eventually branch out and start doing something else similar.
Right.
Aside from the Ahsoka show, though, there's not really a lot. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, except for like those two, there's not really a lot of these that I'm super excited about.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Fair.
I know we also have a few other things to go over, so I mean, it's hard not to shoot my entire wad on the subject because I watched all these things as like a list.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I could do without it. To be honest, my fear is that it could be oversaturation in the same way that we're seeing we're seeing the same thing with Marvel now. There's like 12 shows for Disney Plus planned, and half of them I'm like, who? What?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, there's like 9 for Star Wars too, right? Or like 11 or something. There's like a whole lot.
I think it's 10. I think they said 10 for both.
Oh, okay.
Like in total, the stuff they announced, there was like 10 new Star Wars and 10 new Marvel like shows happening.
Yeah, we were talking about before about how they were just trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. They are officially shooting shit out of a t-shirt cannon to see what sticks. Like, you know what I mean? It's like being in a Flyers game, but instead of a triple XL t-shirt, it's just human feces raining from the sky.
It's a fucking crank machine gun of shit.
So,
just like turning the crank.
Yeah.
The only reason
the Booker DeWitt of shit, if you will.
The only reason I didn't group every Star Wars show announcement together in one thing and just ask is because these two specifically were announced that Filoni and Favreau are show running them. So those two, in my mind, get special excitement levels.
That's
like,
fair, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, oh shit, because these two should be the ones given the fucking stick to shepherd all of Star Wars forward, in my opinion. And in the opinion of most people on the internet, I think. Filoni's been around since, beginnings of Clone Wars and has done just fantastic shit between Clone Wars and Rebels and whatever. Rise of the Resistance was apparently a good show, but it's made for like 2-year-olds, so I never watched it.
I think part of my problem is that the title Rangers of the New Republic just sounds so. It sounds like somebody like steamed vegetables as like a side dish for dinner and didn't bother to season it with anything. You know what I mean? It just sounds like so.
It's very boring. No. It is.
Yeah, it's like you can have these sweet potato mashed potatoes covered in marshmallows and all this other shit that's horrible for you, or you can have unsalted broccoli. You want some unsalted broccoli? You know, because like Ahsoka is
we
like
made
this
you
thing,
mashed
like,
potatoes, but they're not buttered or salted whatsoever.
Yeah. And like the thing is, like, I'm aware that Ahsoka is kind of the color of sweet potatoes. I'm not trying to be a space racist. I don't want any implications
Don't be
here.
spacist.
Yeah, don't be spacist. Oh man. But it's just you have one thing here that's so clearly like the right move to make with Ahsoka, and then Rangers of the New Republic. It's like, well, you haven't given us anything to be excited about except for a title that's not exciting at all. Why did you even bother to announce this alongside of like 10 other shows you have coming out? Couldn't you guys have waited till next year maybe to announce some of this? You know?
Right. Yeah, they definitely could have. All right. There are a couple more Star Wars shows to talk about, and a movie announcement actually, which I don't think any of us saw coming, which I'm pretty excited about. Well, at least as far as my nostalgia is concerned. So the other Star Wars shows, I will list them off. They include one based off of Lando called Lando, one called The Acolyte, one Star Wars Visions, and a droid story, which is an animated thing. So I'm just going to real briefly say I don't care about any of these, Lando included, except The Acolyte sounds kind of cool.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I'm with you.
Acolyte referencing, probably a Sith Acolyte or a dark side user, someone tracking down Sith relics. We've heard this story before, or at least if you've read any of the expanded universe stuff, there have been plenty of like the Knights of Ren, dark side acolytes, these people who kind of like worship the dark side. And they gave a little bit of a blurb or a byline about the Acolyte. It's from a Russian doll co-creator, Leslie Headland. The show is described as a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era.
Oh,
so
okay.
not only
200 years before. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So not only does it sound like it's going to be some cool kind of like, seedy dark side type shit, but it's High Republic, and they kind of like swept that part under the rug because unless you actually go through and like read this shit, they didn't put that anywhere. It's just like there's the announcement and the little Instagram blurb at the bottom of the picture is this High Republic era. They're on the animated front. So not only is Droid Story, but Star Wars Visions is also animated, and that's going to be anime. It's going to be Star Wars anime. They have a bunch of Japanese anime creators that will be working on things. I'm feeling like it might be Animatrix vibes. We'll
see. That, weebs? You guys all excited?
No, they didn't hear that because they all left.
They're gone.
Several episodes ago. If they're still here, they're the masochistic variety, and you don't want that. You don't want to know. What
we got to find
tentacles.
a way to exclude them. That's we'll get there.
But
there's nothing I can say that's not going to get me in so much trouble. So I'm just not going to say anything.
I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about here. There's no confirmation if the Lando show is going to bring back Donald Glover, although you have to assume it would.
Yeah,
because
Billy D's not really leading man material these days.
He's slowed down a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, unless he's leading the old folks home to the I don't know. What do old people do besides fuck and die? I don't know what.
Do they fuck?
They really do. No, that's a real thing. Like STDs are like rampant in fucking like old folks' homes. Yeah, that's a very real thing. They're trying to get it in before they go.
They're just whorehouses.
Yeah.
It's like every door you walk by in a retirement home just sounds like someone's throwing Jello down the staircase.
Oh no! Well, that's a fetish for some people, Scott. Okay. Really, what you're doing is paying thousands of dollars a month for Grandpa to get his dick wet a couple more times before he goes. Right. So I mean, it's the least we can do.
What better way to honor your ancestors?
Yeah, it's a pretty bro move, I'd say.
That's true.
I would say for when I read the Lando thing, I automatically assumed that Donald Glover was attached to it, and that got me excited because
I did too. Yeah,
I thought he was really good as a young Lando Calrissian. I thought he was one of the few things about Solo that was well done.
Yeah.
I mean, Solo isn't that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's bad in the way that like Batman versus Superman's bad. Not like in the way that Suicide Squad was bad.
That's pretty fair.
That's a really interesting metric. That's like really accurate.
Yeah.
I Solo did get a little bit of a heavier rap than I think it deserved. However, I still not really big fan of that film. Some of the things it did were so unforgivable to me that it colors the entire rest of the film in a like less good light for me.
Okay.
Well, plus I think it's just like when you're talking about a show like this sustained thing where you come back every week to watch it. Like I think Don Glover did fucking awesome as Lando Calrissian, but it's like the fact that it was like succinct and to the point is what made his performance good, I think. And trying to just stretch that out, I feel like it would just wear out the welcome a little bit. Not to use the same expression twice in one episode, but I think you'd get a little tired of it. I think that you'd get a little tired of Lando as a character if you had to watch him every fucking week. So I don't think that's due to Don Glover or Billy D. Williams, but I guess we'll see. Is it Billy D. Williams? As soon as I said that, like something in my brain was like, that's not it, is it? Okay.
No,
that's right.
Thank God. Yeah.
Mr. Colt 45.
I feel like it would be a limited series in the same way that Ahsoka is, though.
Probably.
I could get into that. Is Ahsoka limited? I thought that was like a...
I was under the impression that it was a limited, like a special event kind of thing.
They didn't say that explicitly. However, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, they could stretch things out if they wanted to, you know. I mean, we all know that the Disney and Marvel studios are very good at filler. They certainly could. There's a lot of time to play with, right? Because we don't know when or if Ahsoka is dead by Rise of Skywalker. It looks like she is because she speaks to Rey in her little head. That doesn't. I think Filoni said, like, someone asked Filoni and he said that doesn't necessarily mean that she's dead just because she spoke to Rey, because it's, you know, the Force connection.
She could have just reached out. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, at that point, like, how old is she? Like, I don't know the typical, for shame, I don't know the typical lifespan of her species. So, I mean, really, it's a failure on my part.
Yeah, you fucked up kind of a little bit
when you
think about it.
When you think about it like that.
But I'm also, I'm with you on, like, of all these things, like the Acolyte was the one that stuck out to me the most. Just seems like they're doing a different thing, which is awesome. I think with this, like, year of not being able to film anything, they're, you know, like we said, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so a lot of the stuff is kind of like, isn't that the same old? But that stuck out to me a little bit. I think that could actually be very interesting. So
yeah. I'm pretty excited about it. You know what it kind of felt like when I read The Acolyte, it felt like something they would put in like a comic book series, but that they were just like, let's do an actual show for it. And that's what made me like that kind of niche, like, you know, dark side Acolyte shit. It's the kind of thing you would expect from, like, you know, Dark Horse or something to be doing for Disney and Marvel. Anyway, moving on to another bit. So this is like a very cool announcement, but also like the biggest piece of no shit news for the entire podcast. Hayden Christensen is officially confirmed to be joining the cast of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, no fucking shit, this is happening. However,
Skywalker himself.
Mannequin Skywalker. We foretold the future with our podcast episode last week. Even though I found out that the like I was going to call it slur, but sure, we'll stay with that. The slur of Mannequin Skywalker is typically used to make fun of, like, Jake Lloyd, but that's not real. That's not fair. The kid's 9 fucking years old. Like, Hayden Christensen should be a much better actor, and in those movies he was not.
Yeah.
In those movies, he wasn't. I'm super excited about this because I feel like his acting in that movie was a product of just the terrible fucking dialogue of Lucas. Hayden Christensen himself is a good actor. So, like, I'm excited to see him be back in this universe under the direction of somebody else. I think it's going to turn out fucking excellently.
I agree. I have nothing but high hopes for this series. I love Ewan McGregor. He's a great actor. I love him as Obi-Wan. He grew on me so much in the prequels. Even when I went through the period of really just loathing all those films, I still always loved him and Qui-Gon.
Hello there.
Hello there. Yeah, he had some good fucking cheese lines. Yeah, exactly.
But he's the kind of actor that even like the worst dialogue, he can deliver it with, like, this weird, subtle, like, playfulness. Yeah. Where, like, it's like he's in on the joke with you. Like we talked about last week with Kojima. Like he's almost laughing at the dialogue with you as he says it with the way he.
Yeah. I want him to serve me some tea and I'll eat his crumpets. You know.
Okay. I'm not sure if Ewan McGregor's graying enough for you, Chris.
I was gonna say, is he graying
on top of the dye jobs? Yeah.
I'll hair dye. I'll do it for me. We're fine. We'll gray him up a little bit and put him in line at the glory hole. Anyway, there's
two very shit to do though.
That's true.
You know, like those 25-year-olds who use that that Coleman Gray shit for
right.
Like we get it. You're a you're a bartender in Center City. We fucking get it.
Like
bro.
a 33-year-old that just wants to look like an aging hipster really badly.
Yeah. You have the leather straps on your wrist, man. You don't need to go full gray. We get it. You're a piece of shit. We know.
I should start cutting some of mine out and selling them to people. Jesus Christ, look at that. Anyway, there's two pieces of important tidbits in this announcement. One is that they specifically said he will be returning to the role of Darth Vader. So initially when they announced his return, we weren't sure if it was going to be in flashbacks, which they probably will still do some of to let Hayden show his face. But they are specifically, we know this series is taking place in the timeline between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, where we have 30-ish years to play with, where we don't know what Ewan McGregor was doing besides staying on Tatooine. And I have a little bit of a feeling he's not going to be staying on Tatooine the whole time. Specifically because of what Deborah Chow, who's going to be the showrunner of this and has also done a couple episodes of Mandalorian at this point, has announced. She said that fans will be getting the rematch of the century between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in this series. So at first blush, my initial reaction was, oh, come on. All right. Like, really? But then I was like, fuck it. Give it to me. I'm sure it's going to be done well. And I'm sure it's going to give me a raging clue. And because of that, I'm super excited. So, Derek, how do you feel about this?
There's been like a huge, what do they call them? Like fan theories or whatever, for years that basically like the Obi-Wan that we see in A New Hope is suffering from like severe PTSD, just from what he had to experience, like, killing his apprentice and whatnot. I hope that that's something that they explore. Like, it'd be kind of boring if he just gets to Tatooine to keep an eye on Luke and he's just like totally resolved the whole time. When I read that initially, there's going to be the ultimate rematch between Anakin and Obi-Wan. I was like, yeah, but oh, wait, no, I have my timelines fucked up because that would be never mind. Okay, just scratch all that. Scratch that. That ruined half of everything I wanted to say about this. So I hope they explore the idea that maybe Obi-Wan's like, holy shit, like I fucked this person up and now he's fucking up the entire galaxy. And he's has to deal with that sort of internal conflict of like, was this really like an outside source that came in and influenced him? Or was it partially my fault? Yeah.
Yeah. I think they will absolutely, there's no way that you do an Obi-Wan show set in this time period involving Vader and they don't do a deep dive into his mental state about, not only does he have to have guilt about failing his brother, but he's probably going to have survivor's guilt from all of the other Jedi being fucking wiped out. I think there's a really great opportunity to do some really good character work for Obi-Wan with Ewan McGregor, and I'm very excited. But Scott, are you also excited?
Yeah. It's a lot to take on, I think, to go from the last point where we see Obi-Wan at the end of Revenge of the Sith to beginning of A New Hope. You gotta imagine, like you guys said, like there was a lot of processing, a lot of like probably survivor's guilt, probably like a lot of self-hatred, a lot of like self-loathing, and it probably took him a while to get to the point where he was resolved with himself and ready to do whatever he could to make things right, whether it be like confronting Vader again on the Death Star, or like even knowing full well what Anakin's arc was, to hand a lightsaber to his son and have some kind of optimism about the son of one of the most evil people in the galaxy, being able to maybe do something to affect positive change. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. Like that to me is going to be a very interesting story to see how he gets from point A to point B.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to jazz it up. It's going to have a lot of action. It's going to have those standoffs where maybe face to face with Vader, he has those moments to kind of like reflect and realize that it's something that was out of his control, something that was inevitable. But at the same time, though, it seemed, and I know they never say specifically, but it seemed in A New Hope that was supposed to be the first time he had seen Vader in a very long time, possibly even the first time he had seen him since the transition. But
right,
but also we've seen them do things where they kind of like correct correct the lore of like the EU and Legend stuff by saying again, like Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
Right,
Jango Fett
right.
was a foundling. So I mean, they can
Boba
really,
Fett.
yeah, Boba Fett. They can,
Boba Fett.
Boba. They can really do whatever the fuck they want. It's just it's a weird time period, and I like to see how they're gonna flush them out.
Yeah, and I feel like you're right. Like there was never like Obi-Wan, I haven't seen you since that day. Like there was nothing like that. We just assume when we put the pieces together that they haven't. So
I think so. There's I've talked kind of briefly about this stuff before, but there's a really cool fight in Rebels season 2 where Ahsoka sees Anakin as Vader for the first time, or realizes the person she's fighting is her former master, and it obviously breaks her heart, and they battle, and she narrowly escapes with her life, and that's when she realizes what he's become. And I want that moment for Obi-Wan in live action, because he doesn't know what Anakin looks like. He thinks Anakin is dead. He thought he left him for dead.
Yeah.
So when we're gonna get to go on this journey with him where he A, realizes Anakin lives, and B, the straight monster he's become. And I seriously, I mean, I know I've said it a couple times already, just this podcast, let alone in others, but I can't wait enough for that kind of like real meaty character work to be done with these people that we love so much, because TV is really in this like huge renaissance period. It has been since like Breaking Bad and stuff like that started happening, where we're getting so many good shows, and it's just such a better medium in some respects to be able to tell really fleshed out stories and really give characters life and value, whereas that can sometimes be very difficult to do in a 90-minute movie or a 2-hour movie. Anyway, we have 2 more Star Wars things to talk about before we move on.
Meaty girthy.
Meaty girthy. This next piece of news should tickle your N64 nostalgia bone. They are creating a new Star Wars film, theatrically released film for Rogue Squadron. Ooh. Boys. That makes me very happy. This is going to be from director Patty Jenkins, who has done Wonder Woman 1 and 2. She's also done the movie Monster with Charlize Theron, which now feels like a lifetime ago, but that was a great film. Scott, how does this make you feel?
Well, first and foremost, I have to say that I've never seen a director announce that they were directing something in a way that
that was weird.
That sucked their own dick so hard, especially considering she doesn't have a dick to suck.
You don't know what she's working with down there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I don't. I mean,
what else? Patty Jenkins, bro?
Yeah, I came home one day, she was stuck in the dryer.
What a throwback! Oh my god, dude.
I mean.
Ooh, okay, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's exciting for a few reasons. Obviously, those games were incredible. But those games are all action set pieces. And one thing that I think Patty Jenkins does very well is put a lot of the action set pieces together.
Yeah.
I would say, though, at the same time, though, this makes me nervous because as beautiful as Wonder Woman was to look at, it was an incredibly well shot film. The effects were done very well. It was very long winded. So I guess it depends. It depends on me, like what kind of like who is she teaming up with to write the script for this?
Right.
Is going to be what's going to be the most crucial, and we haven't gotten that announcement yet. But I mean, God, what was it? Let me see. Alan Heinberg wrote the screenplay to Wonder Woman, and Zack Snyder wrote the story. So I mean, obviously, I doubt Zack Snyder's going to be involved in this one.
No.
But it's going to be a big part of it's going to be pacing with something like this. There's going to be a lot of story to tell. And the biggest part I think Wonder Woman suffered from was those gigantic lulls between action set pieces where they, you're not just getting the narrative beat, you're getting like an immense amount of world building that isn't even necessary for the story they're telling. It's not even like self-contained world building. Yeah.
Derek, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, listen, fellas, I never played Rogue Squadrons. I never played it.
Oh, no.
I never played it.
Did you have an N64?
I did. I just never played. My parents didn't buy me games. My parents didn't love me. They were just always yelling all the time. It was
TCN exclusive.
No, really, though. I never played it. That being said, I trust your guys' opinions on it, and I've heard many other people say that it was a great game. Patty Jenkins, I agree with exactly what you're saying, Scott. Like there was are her movies perfect? No, but I think that they're definitely like good enough. They're more than good enough. They're enjoyable. You don't remember them 5 years out because I can tell you I don't remember a whole lot about Wonder Woman, but I do remember enjoying it. I remember enjoying Monster too, but I don't remember one character's name in that whole movie.
Charlize Theron was the lady with the tooth.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But
still, that's not a character's name. That's Lady with the Tooth. You know, we're on the same boat. I had read in there her dad was a fighter pilot or something. And so, all right, I guess that qualifies her in some capacity.
Yeah, sure.
But the video of her like in a parking lot with a plane flying overhead, like, did you really pay an airman to do a lap so you could be like?
It's the kind of thing that screams of like corporate marketing. Like they were like, what really brought you to this project? And she's like, well, I've always kind of loved like fighter jets, and my dad was in the service. And they were like, oh, great, we're gonna make a whole segment that's gonna be self-aggrandizing and we're gonna blowing your own horn. Yeah,
this reeks of a sexist old executive though. Who's like, well, if we're gonna let a woman direct Star Wars, we gotta tell them that her dad's dead. Don't feel bad.
Her dad never been in the military.
It's like,
that's a good play. That's a good marketing play.
It just reeks of like, it's just let your work speak for itself. Don't do a trailer for your announcement that you're directing something. Fuck you. Like,
yeah, it was a bit much. So this announcement gets me. There's a lot of potential here for this one too. Again, in the same way that Rogue One had potential and Cassian Andor has potential. It's this kind of, we're getting another Star Wars tale that does not involve Jedi, that's going to be about people on the ground. And specifically, if you've played Squadrons at all, it's the single player story is great about the fighter pilots, and you'll hear them reference, events that we know have happened. But to these people who are just trying to live their fucking lives, those things don't necessarily matter all the time. It's more about like the next battle and what you've got to deal with when you go home and shit like that. So it's coming out Christmas 2023. Yeah, so it's 3 years from now. It's a ways off. I would imagine if the COVID pandemic doesn't pipe the fuck down, at least 6 months into 2021, it's gonna get pushed out. But
you sound like you need to be like put into that old folks home we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I'll go to an old orgy. Yeah, I mean, it's like peeling apart a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, plenty of gray bush in there for you.
I feel like there's not a whole lot of bush left, right? Most of it's fallen out from the chemotherapy. It's
I was not going to go anywhere near
I'm sorry
that
for
hardcore.
a joke. This is the very first time that I felt bad immediately.
Did you? Have you ever laughed so hard that you go lightheaded? Like, I think part of it's that I've slept so little, and the other part is that all I had to eat in the last 24 hours was an entire pizza.
Dude, P.S. I love Sleepy Scott. You should get 2 hours of sleep every episode.
You shouldn't do that. That sounds terrible for your health.
I'm just glad that like when I get lost, I'm looking, I'm side-eyeing Derek in his panel, and I feel like he can like hear my thoughts. Because like there's twice where I'm just like, oh god, I'm rambling. How do I stop talking? And then Derek's just like, yeah, well, actually, I'm like, thank fucking god. You are. It's like my drunk uncle threw me into the pool, and you are my swimmies, bro. You're the only thing keeping me going. I'm so thankful you're here.
I'll let you float.
I mean, my joke was gonna be something up against Derek's fucking just disarming joke. Mine's gonna be so much more tame. I was gonna say there's probably not a lot of like silver foxes. There's a lot of just like Kris Kringle bushes, but that joke just pales in comparison now to the darkness that poured forth from Derek's fucking gullet.
Yeah. I just want to make it clear that we are not shilling in the name of here for Star Wars. With Rogue Squadron, it's very important to me that the focus is on the actual people in the X-Wings in the sky. We don't need to see this giant like story where they're like a small part of it. It needs to be all about the fighter pilots. It needs to primarily take place in the air. Like honestly, if it was like kind of like a solo kind of thing where it's like one mission that takes them a long fucking time. Like I don't want to see these guys sitting in X-Wings or A-Wings for 2.5 hours straight. but they've got to find some way to be able to compartmentalize that part of a Star Wars story and have it be all about just these pilots. And I think that's really difficult to do because the space battles are always a small offshoot. It's like we talked about how they do when they do creature stuff as an entire episode of The Mandalorian. It does, even though looking back, the Krayt Dragon was well done.
Yeah,
that's not the worst episode of the season by far. Looking back, but when you take something that's usually only meant to occupy a few minutes of time or a half hour of time, and you extend that, you kind of feel it drag a little bit. So they got to find a way to keep it fresh and exciting if it's going to be about just these pilots in like a space battle or on a space mission for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
it's going to be a struggle.
I wouldn't really call it like an up-Shill battle, but I think they have.
Fuck! I'm gonna watch back the video of this eventually, so I can like try to catch the moment in your eyes when you realize what you're gonna say before you say it, and then try to just figure out how long you patiently waited for me to wrap up my fucking point so you could say that.
Chris is just sitting here like this.
Yeah. He's still talking. This guy needs to get some sleep. He won't shut the fuck up.
Okay, so the last piece of Star Wars news we had to talk about. I have a feeling you guys won't be that excited about it, but it's the sizzle reel for a new show coming out that we talked about before when it was originally announced, called The Bad Batch, and it's about these. This group of stormtroopers who were basically the defective stormtroopers, the ones that didn't come out of the mold quite right. They all have a little thing here and there wrong with them.
I'm just picturing the Orokai from Lord of the Rings right now.
just in stormtrooper armor, it doesn't fit right.
Yeah,
right. I mean, if that's what you're picturing,
somebody the second he comes out of the cloning machine.
Yeah, if that's what you're thinking of, then you're spot on. So it's hard to say. I don't understand from the sizzle reel. Like, obviously, some of this takes place still in the Clone Wars. I have to assume some of it takes place after, because the last place we saw them, they showed up in the final season of the Clone Wars, as I talked about before, but I won't spoil what happens. But there's some cool shots in this sizzle reel at the very least. I mean, they go to Kamino for some unknown reason, and I'm always down to revisit the fucking home of the cloners. I mean, obviously they're going to. It's where they fucking came from, but I don't know. It looks... I've been saying this for like every fucking Star Wars announcement, but it looks like it could be interesting for the same fucking reason that Rogue Squadron looks interesting, because it's these things, it's these big kind of grandiose moments, and then you are following these characters who just see it on the peripheral. You know what I mean? So there's like a picture in the sizzle reel of like post Order 66 Palpatine giving orders to troops on a big like hologram, and that kind of stuff's just fucking cool to me. That's just the stuff I want more of from Star Wars. So, did you guys have any thoughts on this sizzle reel before we move things along?
Only that I hope, like, something I feel like the movies do wrong consistently throughout is that they make like the Jedi and the Force users in general like nobody's as strong as even the weakest Jedi, which I think sucks. It's boring. Yeah. Whereas, like, you guys remember back? I actually just watched it the other day, but remember the old Republic cinematics, and there was like a stormtrooper who like tackles a fucking Sith Lord and like just happens to like have a thermal grenade in his hand. Like, I just want to see more shit like that, where like if a stormtrooper is basically like smart enough or tough enough, he can actually get like the upper hand over a Force user. I hope we see that kind of like nitty gritty shit. Yeah. That's really, for whatever reason, that's where my mind went when I watched it. That's really the only thought I have on it, that I hope we see like tough dudes like that, essentially. Yeah. I mean, it is called The Bad Batch, not The Bad Bitch, which is initially what both me and Veronica thought.
I would prefer that, honestly. I think The Bad Batch is a terrible name. It sounds like if they made like a made for TV movie of like Breaking Bad, you know what I mean? Like if there was like a direct to DVD sequel for well, I guess the Netflix one kind of is, honestly. Yeah. That wasn't great. it wasn't Bad Batch bad, but it wasn't great. Stupid name, interesting looking show. You know what I mean? It looked to me like the Clone Wars has grown up a little bit. A little bit grittier, maybe focused on more of like a teen, like late teen audience. It looks to me like it might be one of those things like they're kind of Harry Pottering it. People grew up watching this. Like, well, you read all this childish nonsense to get here. Here's the young adult book that you get as a prize. I mean, like, it's right. You know what I mean? Like Harry Potter's one of the series that matured with its audience, albeit not very much, but it did.
Yeah, he jerks off in book 5, I heard.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Coombe Goblins.
You can tell me that Harry Potter fisted his own ass with a chocolate frog, and I wouldn't be able to debate you because I've never read any of those fucking books. I've never. No, that's a lie. I read the first chapter of the first one and was like, fuck this, the movie's coming out anyway. I'm not doing this. Too late.
Do you think out of all the times he like spent the night over Weasley's house, he ever found the mom in the dryer and stuck?
No, because they have magic, duh.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, she could just bibbidi broop her way out of that shit.
Yeah, bibbidi bobbidi. Ooh.
All right.
Bibbidi bobbidi. No, but clearly they use the Fantasia method of doing housework. You know what I mean? Because their house was always fucking filthy. So you'd imagine they would put the dish soap and the sponge in charge of washing dishes.
To the Bad Batch still on Harry Potter. You're like, but no, seriously, they use magic to clean their house up.
Seriously, fuck these freaks.
No, but remember, like in Fantasia, like Mickey Mouse is like, "You guys can carry water, right?" They're like, "Mm-hmm," and then they fuck up everything. So I imagine whenever you cast a spell into like you have the vacuum trying to vacuum the house by itself, and it's in the twins' room sucking off one of the twins, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
I'm gonna have to isolate Scott's audio. You guys can carry water, right? Mm-hmm. and animate it to like the actual film. Oh god! Like just take a snippet of like Mickey Mouse and then like the fucking screen. Mm-hmm. All right. So that was the wrap up for our Star Wars announcements. The next thing Star Wars we will talk about will be our main topic, which is this week's Mando episode. But for now, we have a weird piece of news sandwiched in between. We have a couple. We have like 2 or 3 pieces of weird news that don't fit between the Disney shill house of Marvel and Star Wars. It's still Disney. Don't get me wrong.
A Time to Shill, starring Samuel L. Jackson.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
That's pretty good. This is weird news, and I don't want it to happen. And I feel like at least Derek and I, probably also Scott, will feel the same way about this. Harrison Ford has officially been confirmed for Indiana Jones 5. Steven Spielberg will not be returning. Instead, James Mangold will be taking over the director chair. So, and the film's confirmed to come out in July 2022. So let me just be the first to say, I really wish Harrison Ford would stop making movies. Like, in fact, I wish I could find a time machine and go back 10 years and stop him from making more movies then.
Because, just tell him it's okay. It's all right. Yeah. It's all right, Mr. Ford.
You ageist pieces of shit.
No, it has nothing to do with his age. He's still a decent actor. It's just he's
have you seen The Way Home yet?
No, but I mean,
what's The Way Home?
Is it that CGI dog?
Yeah,
it's the dog one.
Yeah. I haven't seen it either. I was just trying to like be argumentative. I'm bored. I'm bored talking about this. I just want to argue about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I mean, I really thought you had seen it for a second, and I was very excited to hear about the film in general.
It looks like that movie, Homeward Bound, kind of like a little bit, right?
Except not good like that movie is. That's just a classic fucking masterpiece. Untouchable, dude.
What was that one? It was called like Yellow Dog or something like that. It was like this kid's like stuck on an island with him and like this golden retriever or this.
I feel like it's definitely not called Yellow Dog though. I'm basing that on nothing. It just can't be called Yellow Dog.
Let me search Yellow Dog real quick.
Like they just the color of the dog is the name of the movie.
Yeah, this movie's called Brown Dog.
Oh, sorry. Far From Home: The Adventures of Yellow Dog. Suck it, fucking suck it. I was kind of right.
It had a preamble and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's been. I feel like I'm trying to help him protect his own legacy, which is so stupid. But like, he just keeps agreeing to do terrible fucking movies. Yeah, like we're talking about he was in one of my favorite films of all time. I have no reason to like The Fugitive as much as I do, other than the fact that I think it was just a great fucking movie. I have watched that movie so many times because it's the one I can just put on and enjoy no matter what part of the fucking movie it's on. Like, it was the guy, the one-armed man. It was the one-armed man. But I feel like he's just been
doing that again right now. Do it one more time for me.
Okay, kid.
Yeah, from the top.
It was the one-armed man. You gotta find him.
You sound like every homeless guy I've ever been cornered on the L train with. It's just,
can I have $5?
it's just me and him, and I have my headphones in, but he knows it's not loud enough for me not to hear him. And he just keeps talking.
He's phoned in every performance for the past like 10 years. Like everything he's in, you can tell he doesn't want to be there. And it's just like, it's okay. Like, let's just let them get someone else. It's all right, Harrison. Just take a break. You did your duty. And it's okay to just stop now.
Take a break for the rest of your life and go quietly into the great night.
It's not. Fuck you. That's horrible. This man walked away from a plane crash. You bite your fucking tongue.
You know, because he did that, he's gonna die to something real fucking stupid. Too.
Oh, we've covered that. Yeah. I'm sad. I'm already sad about it. Like I'm already ready to cry.
Like you used up all your fucking mojo on that plane crash, bro. Like you're gonna
he's
go
gonna
out
get
to
like a hairline fracture in his big toe that's just gonna become gangrenous, and that's just gonna take him out. Like something real dumb.
He's gonna trip in a parking lot, and there's gonna be like a nail in the it's gonna hit just the perfect spot on his temple or something.
He's gonna have a Final Destination moment. It's gonna be horrific. We're all gonna reevaluate our own mortality after we read the news article. But the thing is, like, he deserves redemption, man. Like, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was 2008. It was terrible because first of all, aliens.
I was gonna say that whole movie is just that fucking meme of the dude going alien.
Yeah.
Like
also, that guy existing and not being beaten to death in the street is just mind blowing to me. There's so much. there's so much like. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. There are so many random hate crimes based on gender and sexuality and race every single day, but that fucking asshole is walking around unscathed. That's an injustice. That's criminal.
I love the right hand right hand turn that took.
Hold him down, shave his head, and then stomp him out like his name's fucking fire. Just
oh my god. Oh my god.
All right.
Oh wait. To quote me. Oh no.
Oh no.
Continue, sir.
Yeah.
I've never seen Indiana Jones. I've never seen any of them. I'm just gonna say that. Yep.
Derek.
We're gonna have to watch them even together. Ron just walked by and said, "Wow!" All right, that's she walked by. That's never seen any of them.
I mean, that's a watch along trilogy that has to happen.
Yeah, we can do it. I feel like at this time that's actually going to be interesting because my theory is that when you don't watch it when you're 10 for the first time, it's probably dog shit. So I want to be proven wrong. I do. But that's how I feel about it.
It's a solid theory because I've known a lot of people who have seen Star Wars later in life. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, unless you saw it when you were younger, why would you give a shit about the effects don't age well?
Yeah.
Because it's magical in every possible way. Like Indiana Jones captures that same it kind of captures the same
that cat just screamed at the top of its lungs.
That was my son because he likes to just walk around the house just highest pitched noise he can make.
All right, that sounded like a kitty cat.
Can relate. No, but Indiana Jones kind of has the same magic that Star Wars had, that same quality to it. They all kind of feel like they're like Goonies a little bit. Right. He's avoiding traps. He's looking for treasure. The problem with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is that it jumped the shark so fucking hard. Up until then, the overall theme was religion, sort of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he's looking for the Ark of the Covenant, and then he's
the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. Like it's Temple of Doom is also about what's viewed as more like tribalistic religions. Voodoo and things like that, and how they could be grounded in reality, and it's really interesting. But you see, with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that was directed by Spielberg, and it's the worst movie Spielberg's ever done. So I don't think
fucking bad.
I don't think Spielberg not being attached to this it means it's going to be bad. I think if anything, that gives me more hope for it because it's to me it's like Lucas in the end, where you're just like, hey man, you've done a great job so far with world building. But you're at the point now where nobody's going to tell you. Pass the fucking
ball eventually.
You're
Pass the fucking ball, man.
Yeah, because you're Tom Brady. No one's going to tell you to put the ball down. You just have to know when to do it. You know what I mean? You have to know when to take a step back and let somebody else who maybe has a different vision or, just has a fresh set of eyes to put on a franchise to take over and do something with it.
Yeah. So Derek, you've never seen any of them, right?
No, I've seen bits and pieces, and I know like enough from cultural reference to know exactly how they all begin, transition, and end. But
Kalima.
There's two things you should know.
Okay, I guess not. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea what you guys are saying.
Well, that's from inarguably the worst of them.
Yeah. Second worst.
Okay, so there are three of the original trilogy. Some people, and I don't know where Scott falls, but I'm just throwing this out in Front Street. Some people will argue 1 is the best. 3 is by far the best of the original trilogy.
Yes, 100%. 3 is the best one.
Same page.
All right,
virtual
that's
high
rare.
five.
Third in a trilogy. Okay. I'm into that.
I do think that's rare because the third is almost always like at best like middle child. You know what I mean?
Alien 3.
Yeah,
you know?
and in this particular case, I happen to think the middle one is the worst by like a decent margin. Like Temple of Doom is not the worst. That's not like a super bad Indiana Jones film. It's just not. I don't know. There's the magic of 1 and 3 is not.
I feel like 2 had way more memorable moments though. Like it wasn't a better film because the overall story and the stakes aren't. The story isn't as interesting. The stakes aren't as high in Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
But like the scene with him and Short Round walking like sounds like fortune cookies. Like they're walking on the bugs and like when they go to that feast in Peru and they're like just cutting open snakes and eating the live babies out of them. Dude, like all that shit traumatized me as a kid. But was like, but it really does show you like
sounds very interesting.
It's an exaggeration, but it shows you that like in other countries it is totally normal to just pick a beetle up off a table and eat it. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like I don't know. It was super interesting. I mean, visually that one's one of the most memorable ones with the whole Kali Ma. You know, like the
Can I melt your guys' brains into shit just before we get too far away from the third movie being the middle child? Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars of all time. It's my absolute favorite. Yeah, big time. I know that's like a lot, like everybody really likes Empire, and then like the other 30% like A New Hope, but I just always love Jedi, and I know that's like seems to be everyone's least favorite, at least of the original trilogy.
No, I have a weird order. I do like Empire the best, but I like Return of the Jedi second. I like the original the least of the first 3 films.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you guys when you saw Star Wars for the first time, or when you saw Return of the Jedi for the first time?
I don't remember.
I was probably like 9.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
9, 10, something like that.
All right, that probably explains it.
Wow.
There's
Can you explain that?
No.
What the fuck does that mean, Scott?
It means there's like a line drawn the same between people who were of a certain age when they saw Jedi for the first time and found the Ewoks to be endearing and charming.
Okay, I still don't like them.
And sweet.
I love them. I love the Ewoks. I don't get why people don't like them. I really don't understand it at all.
And then there's people like me who, when you see them flying through the air after an ATSD blows up a tree, you're just like, oh yes, good.
No, you know what? I always loved Jedi because just that moment at the end where you really don't know, or at least you're too young to understand film tropes well enough to know whether or not Vader is going to do the right thing or the wrong thing, and then he does the right thing. Was so like it was such a fucking joyous, explosive moment for me that like I'll never forget that first time I watched it. And so I think I had like the most magical moment with that one, and so it's just always the one I hold the most dear, I guess. We really thought we were going to get away from Star Wars, huh? Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I would say the Empire is my favorite because it ends on such a bleak note.
Right.
If I'm being honest, but
just like real life.
I mean, like to me, it is the most. I mean, I know we're talking about a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago, but to me, it is like one of the most realistic Like, of course, they're gonna fucking lose. Of course, Lando's gonna turn on them. Of course, Han Solo is gonna get captured. Of course, Vader's gonna win. That first initial standoff where Luke and Vader face off for the first time, and there's all that anger and animosity and hatred because Luke watched him kill Ben. And seeing Luke tap into the hatred and use his hate to fight, and then learn that he couldn't win with his hate, and ultimately having to like lose and just being helpless and losing his hand and backing out there and realizing that his only option aside from fighting with hate and turning the dark side himself is to just commit suicide and jump. And he'd rather jump and risk dying than become what his father's becoming. And he's also realizing that's his father right then and there. Like that fucking all hits, and you see it. Like Mark Hamill's so fucking good, man. It's
he really is excellent.
I also want to point out our uncanny ability to turn any conversation into a Star Wars
Yeah,
conversation.
it's basically a Star Wars podcast at this point.
Fuck.
It's
sorry,
all right.
sorry.
No,
I'm
they
wearing
were-
my TIE Fighter shirt today, boys.
Oh, nice.
Very
no,
nice.
they were.
Chris is
they were
also
totally-
wearing a Star Wars shirt. I feel a little like I missed the memo here.
Nice little,
It's
the ships.
completely coincidental that we're wearing kind of sort of matching shirts.
I'm just wearing a V-neck, guys, for whoever's
It's
just
coincident-
audio only. It's just a V-neck. I'm not missing anything. It's purple.
It's not a deep V though. I can't say nip.
No.
Or belly button
Just-
if you're wearing a J-Lo V-neck. Okay. Next piece of news is a bit of it feels out of left field considering how much we've been talking about Disney and Star Wars and Marvel. There's going to be an Alien TV series coming to the FX channel from Noah Hawley. Ridley Scott, of course, the original director of the Alien franchise, is in talks to executive produce it. There's not any information yet about release dates, but it's an interesting one because just before I passed the baton here, the rambling baton to one of you guys, I would imagine an Alien show is going to be prohibitively expensive on the physical effects side of things, and I'm just very. I mean, it's FX, and I'm not throwing any shade at FX. That's where Breaking Bad lived. I mean, they've had a lot of quality series on that channel, and I'm sure they have plenty of money in the coffers to throw at stuff. But I just feel like this series is with no behind the scenes information that this series is going to struggle to bring to life exactly what it wants to do, and is going to have to compromise, and therefore could end up with either a very interesting television show because sometimes great stuff is born out of those compromises behind the scenes, or B, could just be shitty. And I'm not sure which way I think it's going to go. But Scott, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I think FX has an incredible track record. I mean, just look at Legion. That show just wrapped up, and from start to finish was like visually and narratively a masterpiece.
That's
I
the
never watched
director.
it, and I heard it was good.
Yeah. That's the
I
director
mean,
for Aliens, too. That's same guy.
The Noah Hawley. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
And the fact that this is something that they've been kicking around for years, and he's kind of like he played coy about it, like up until they actually announced it. But him being attached to it alone, like him being the like signed on to direct, and potentially having Ridley Scott come and executive produce. I mean, as far as practical effects go, like they have like Fox has a vault full of alien props left over from the last 30 years or so. And what they can't do with old animatronics, they'll recreate and update and make it work. Even if this show relied entirely on CGI, seeing how realistically FX uses CGI to kind of like add layers to things, especially in Legion, I have no doubt that this, if they get the right script together and if they get the right people cast, it will be incredible. It'll be better than any of the Alien movies we've gotten since Alien. If I'm being honest.
Nice.
But it is weird because they're saying it's going to take place on Earth. There was a novel, a run of books done in, this was like, I was in like 5th grade. I should have even been reading these books where there's like legitimate hardcore sex scenes. You're just like,
You totally should have been reading them.
I was, and somehow I'm not a weeb. They talk about
You made it, baby. You survived. You lived.
They talk about fucking robots, and I'm just like, not for me. No, none for me, thanks.
Strong-willed.
Yeah. No, but they had a run of books. The first of which was called Earth Hive, about essentially part of LV-44 crashing. Like a part of it, like they're trying to essentially crack planets out of Dead Space, which I think is where Dead Space got some of their mythology from, and part of the alien homeworld or the location of the crashed ship ends up on Earth, and you have aliens breeding in mass on Earth, and there's like essentially just a war for what's left of Terra, as they call it.
Right.
And that was an extremely interesting story. If they're trying to do something like that, I could see it work, but I'm not sure where in the timeline this is supposed to take place. I read. I think that
it doesn't specify.
I read something that led me to believe that it was going to take place before the original movie, or sometime between Alien and Aliens, where Ripley's like recovered, and that there's like it's like a 65 was it 45 or 65 year stretch in between those, which is also where the Alien Isolation game takes place on Sevastopol. So you got to wonder would this be an opportunity to maybe take Amanda Ripley and give her a storyline? That's a character that we may see the end of, but we've already established that in these new canons they're building, Disney isn't afraid to do a prequel and show you what leads up to an event that you already know takes place. Especially if it's something, especially if it's something abstract like a video game character dying off at the end of a 20-hour game, which is a great game, but unless you're a diehard fan, you're not making that 20-hour slog start to finish. You're just not doing it.
Right.
Doesn't it? I thought I read that it takes place on Earth, which would make me
it does.
Yes.
Yeah. So it takes place after, I would assume, right? Because I think the whole plot is that they're trying to prevent it from getting to Earth. It's been so long since I've seen those movies, but that would be my assumption. The only other thing I have to say about it is that Noah Hawley, he did Legion, he did what is it called, Fargo, which is apparently very good. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen that one either.
And I always hear it's really good, but
yeah, me too.
I can speak for I think there's a new season airing.
Chris Rock's on it now,
soonish.
Really?
Yeah, sure. That sounds right. I can't argue with it. I don't.
As long as he doesn't narrate it like he did in The Witch, I think I'm good.
Ewan McGregor is in it. Too. I'm pretty sure he plays.
I think he was at some point.
Yeah, but I can speak for the first season of Legion and say that like his ability to direct is incredible. Legion is great because it takes like two totally separate worlds. It takes the superhero world, which is fun and exciting and, breathtaking. And then it takes experimental film and it sort of bridges those two things together really fucking excellently. So all I have to say about it is that obviously he has shown me that he is capable of directing really well. And the fact that Ridley Scott is on the executive production team, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's kind of destined to do something interesting at the very least.
Now, in the movies, the main narrative was that Wayland Yutani, I think it is.
Yeah,
they were trying to capture this alien as an asset to use for warfare, to like basically to reverse engineer them. We see that kind of come to fruition in Alien Resurrection, where they're cloning Ripley. They clone Ripley to bring her back from the dead, and they extract this queen from her, and they're they're kind of like doing a whole bunch of like weird experimentation, like gene therapy and cloning them, and making different variations of aliens. So we could see something like that where it takes place maybe in an alternate timeline. Cause they've teased alternate timelines before that would erase Alien 3 from existence.
Right.
There was a rumor a couple years back about a rewrite to the series that would kind of do what Terminator Salvation did, where it just fuck all that shit. This is what actually happened.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp was attached to it.
Yeah.
The guy that did District 9, yeah.
And in that, we would have seen Newt fully grown up, like Newt, like age 20-something. And we would have seen, like, Ripley, age-appropriate, waking up, and they both survive, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of opportunity here. We don't have any announcements for casting yet, which is going to be the big signifier of how much stock to put in this. But there are multiple narratives that have been told throughout time that bring the aliens back to Earth. They could be using source like something from the I don't even know if you would call it legends or what you would call it, because alien canon isn't really that kept under lock and key like Star Wars is. It's going to be good. It's going to be good with
I think so too.
Yeah, it's just depends on whether you're here for it or not. If you show up for it, you'll probably enjoy it if you're a longtime fan. Because I mean, let's be realistic. If you sat through Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and all those Alien vs Predator movies, and you still want more, you'll eat whatever shit they serve you. You'll eat it out of a dog bowl. You'll wear a fucking spiked collar and eat that shit. You don't care. There's no dignity left in you, and it's okay. Because big scene.
Yeah. The only thing I will point out before we move on is that a conversation with the director Noah said, as I did with Legion, the exercise is let me take the superhero stuff out of the show and see if it's still great. What's the show about? Let's take the alien out. What are the themes? Who are the characters? What's the human drama? So besides knowing that he did Legion, which like Derek said, we both I've heard is great. I haven't seen it. And that Fargo, which Derek and I have both said we haven't seen. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just concerned about the budget aspect, but I mean, I guess we'll see. The two real big kind of variables out there are A, casting, and B, proper timeline placement. And who knows? Maybe that'll be part of the mystery of the show. Is when is this taking place? So there could be a lot of interesting stuff done. But moving on, we now have our Marvel section of news, and it's going to be Marvel. One other outlier announcement at the end of this, which was big excite time, and then we have our Mandalorian discussion. So Christian Bale, who we know is playing the villain in Thor Love and Thunder, Thor 4, has been confirmed to be playing someone he was rumored to be playing, which is Gore the God Butcher. And Gore is a creature who sets out on a mission to kill as many gods as he can. Like, he's like, can I fucking go murder the Asgardians? Can I, there's been speculation of him being cast as this person before. He's got a very comic book look to him, which means that they're probably going to alter his costume quite a bit. It's very revealing. Almost like taking advantage of alien physique there. He's got like a fucking just something covering up his little alien bits, and not too much else.
Wait,
but he looks.
Was there an image for? Was there an image for this?
Not in the doc, but you could just like Google Gore the God.
He's very sexual. Yeah.
He looks pretty cool though.
Yeah.
He's got that Spawn cape going on, but with like a weird symbiote vibe to it.
Right.
Yeah, but his everything else, like his chest is just exposed and like everything for no discernible reason.
He definitely describes himself as pansexual. That's definitely, and I'm into it.
I'm sure he'll be excited to hear that. So for those of you who might not know, which I assume is most people, because this is more of an obscure villain, Gore is a relatively new comic book villain. He was only introduced 7 years ago. He's an alien creature whose homeworld was destroyed despite his people's prayers to their gods, leading to his spite for the divine. Convinced the gods have abandoned their creations and driven by hatred, he sets out on a mission across the cosmos to kill as many gods as he can, naturally bringing him face to face with the God of Thunder eventually. So we don't know sort of how he fits into this Thor 4 puzzle. We know that Tessa Thompson is back as Valkyrie. We know that Natalie Portman's back as Jane Foster and will also be donning the moniker of Thor at some point. And that's really all we have to go off of. So I don't know where he's going to factor in or how it's going to work, but I'm cool with it because I think Christian Bale's a good actor, and I don't really care I'm interested to see what they do with him. Marvel has notoriously had a very tough time making good and compelling villains. Could be an opportunity for them to make a really great one. So, Scott, how do you feel about it?
It's not gonna be. It's fucking not. Because like the thing is, like, I get it. Like it's that. It's always a misstep where you're like, we're just gonna hire this incredible actor, like this method actor, to play this cartoonish, nonsensical villain. Like we've seen it. Like as great an actor as Dafoe is, and as much as he shined in Spider-Man with Worst Boy Toby. He's still laughable when you go back and watch that movie because like it's so bad. Like you could put like Danny DeVito, sure. Like you can be a villain. You're allowed. You're not like you don't take yourself too seriously. I've never seen you in anything that like had any carried any emotional weight or changed my life in any way. I can accept you as you are. Just stop, man. Just fucking stop. Like this guy is clearly like a power bottom leather daddy symbiote, and that's cool. Like I'm it's a new flavor. You know, it's like when you go to Baskin Robbins, like there's like, I'll try pistachio jalapeno. Fuck it, like let's. You know what I mean, I'm not gonna not try something that's, I don't know.
I'm so with you. It feels like there's this like trend of them hiring like an A-list actor as if like hiring them is like, all right, well that makes up for all the work we didn't put into writing this character. It's Kate Blanchett in fucking Thor Ragnarok. It's like, oh, she's in it, and then you see her, it's like, oh, that's Kate Blanchett. And that's it. That's like, you don't remember the character. What was her name? Hela? Was that it?
Yeah.
Hera? Something like that?
She destroys Mjolnir. She is almost solely responsible for the destruction of Asgard, but still you don't feel like she's even a real villain.
Yeah.
All she does is kill nameless, faceless Asgardians with like these weird telekinetic swords. That's all.
And wears the fuck out of that costume. Am I right, boys?
Sure does.
Yeah.
God, she is just great to look at.
There's no way you wouldn't accidentally cut all of your body open trying to fuck her in that thing, but you still try.
But I would take that risk. Oh, absolutely.
It's worth it.
It would essentially be like trying to fuck the Great Barrier Reef. Like there's so much sharp, pointy fire coral, but you're just like, but it's so pretty. You're just like, it's worth it.
I gotta do it. I gotta put my dicks in.
Yeah, it's consensual. in this scenario, Kate Blanchett is into killing me while I fuck her with her sharp pointy costume. But in no movie is it more painfully obvious that they put effort into casting and none into writing than in fucking what is it Miss God, what the fuck is it? Fuck. Brie Larson, Unbearable, awful. Jude Law.
What is it called?
Brie Larson, Unbearable, awful.
Jude Law. God, what the see, right?
It's not Miss Marvel. It's
no, but it might as well be.
What is it?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Just like this, like that. Like, again, like you. I understand wanting to have Jude Law be a part of the MCU. I get it, but you're really gonna. That's what you're gonna do with them. That's all you're gonna do with them. Like if you're gonna hire these actors that are like AAA list actors that just for showing up get paid more than half the other castmates, you might as well utilize them and actually write a compelling narrative.
Yeah, that's their contribution, just sucking up the budget. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and to me, like it's hard for me to imagine Christian Bale not being just an unbearable dickhead on set. Like
I was gonna. Oh, you're stealing my joke right now. Same page. I was gonna say how many lighting guys.
By all means, take it, have it. Come on, you earned it. You've been waiting patiently.
Well, yours might be different, so we'll see. I was gonna say let's take a bet on how many sound guys he destroys on the set of this film. Like how many people's lives do you think he actually just crumbles with his bare fucking hands because they walked past him while he was doing a take for Gore the God Butcher?
Yeah.
Like I can't wait for him to get in the middle of a rant and realize he's ranting about being a comic book character villain called Gore the God Butcher. And maybe he has an awakening inside and realizes that it's all for naught and he should be a nice fucking person.
Yeah, how much like secondhand alcoholism has he caused, do you think? Like just like crew workers who go home and they're like, maybe just one drink on a Tuesday isn't the worst thing in the world. And then like 6 months later, they're
fist fighting their wife in a Walmart parking lot. It's like
exactly. All because of Bale, baby. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Stresses you out.
For him, they should have just done what they did for Jude Law, since you mentioned it. They should have made him something like Jude Law's name was literally Marvel. Why don't we call fucking Christian Bale like Disney and he'll be the fucking the villain of this film? It's a way to dump the money. Like you said, it's a way to dump we have $200,000 for this part that takes 3 seconds on screen. So which actor can we throw it at? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
The real question I have, and I think the only question that really matters right now, the only question that needs to be answered is what movie was Christian Bale filming when he lost his shit on that lighting guy? Like, or the craft services guy, or who? Like,
I forget. Let me look it up.
It was The Dark Knight, wasn't it?
I don't know. I
hope so. But there's no answer that makes that reaction reasonable to me at all. Like,
no.
Like that. After I saw that, like, I honestly think that's part of the reason I couldn't get into The Dark Knight Rises as much, and why I haven't.
It was Terminator.
Oh,
really?
Terminator. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. And all of his co-stars came forward like he's actually a really nice guy, but no crewmates came forward and said he was a really nice guy.
No, but also imagine having that reaction on what is inarguably the shittiest Terminator. Keep in mind, Terminator 3, Dark Fate, and Genesis all exist, but your Terminator is still the worst. You're a cunt. You're a fucking cunt.
Dark Fate was so bad, wasn't it? Oh my God.
I didn't hate it as much as Salvation, if I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. You just don't like Sam Worthington, huh? I mean,
really
who does?
I really don't. Like somehow as emotionless and dry and bland as Sam Worthington has been, he isn't convincing as a robot either. Like it's just like, how do you?
You know what's crazy? If you go to any gas station, someone that looks like Sam Worthington works there. Every single gas station in America.
Just like kind of handsome, but not enough to be famous. And you're like,
You're like, can I get 20 on 3? And you're walking away like, is that fucking Sam Worthington?
It might be.
He's the Jango Fett template for Hollywood actors on actual Earth. Like
you're right though. He is.
Who's the Bad Batch versions of Sam Worthington? Who's like the rejects?
I mean,
I don't have an answer.
I feel like Sam Worthington is both the template, but like Sam Worthington is the template for like every Skyrim character you've ever made before you like gave them actual features that
holy
gave them
shit.
Oh no!
You know
to tie into a future news article, he's the Commander Shepard before you actually like pick the Commander Shepard that you want.
Yeah. Just like, well, not like they're all soft features and they're all fine. They're all good. If you're in a rush,
he's like squared and rounded
like,
at the same time.
Yeah,
it's really.
Like, I'm playing first person only this run. Doesn't even matter what it looked like. Just push start. Let's go.
The non-offensive white protagonist that they just throw on the box cover to get get you in the door. Oh shit! All right, moving on. Anything else to add?
No, I think it's probably best we gloss over that.
Sam really hijacked that one, huh?
So this is the Marvel equivalent show list off for, like we did earlier for the Star Wars stuff. A lot of these I don't have super huge thoughts on, so I'll list all the shows and then we can each give some varying thoughts on them. Okay, so first up, we talked about this quite a long time ago. I do not recall the episode number, but She-Hulk, the actress to confirm She-Hulk has been confirmed to be Tatiana Maslany. Who is someone we had rumored to be playing her. I think it might have been like the first or second episode. It was very early on. Tim Roth is returning as Abomination, and Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo, will be appearing in the series, directed by Kat Coiro and Anu Valia. Never heard of either of them, unfortunately, so I don't know their past work, but that's the She-Hulk news. Don't really care too much outside of a confirmation of who's playing her. It's kind of cool that Tim Roth is coming back. I think The Incredible Hulk is a bad movie, so I don't care all that much, but he was, I don't know.
Might surprise you to hear this, but a lot of people feel that way about The Incredible Hulk.
A
lot of people didn't like that movie. Crazy, right?
Yeah. For me, continuity is the problem, so I'd rather not even acknowledge that Tim Roth exists in the MCU.
Oh, I forgot your burning hatred for anything that crosses continuity lines.
Yeah, but because like if we acknowledge that Tim Roth exists, we have to acknowledge that Edward Norton is no longer the Hulk. I didn't find anything about Tim Roth's portrayal of Abomination to be noteworthy, even. So I don't give a fuck. Like they're just bringing him back because they're like, we need we need something to rope people into this because it's clearly not something that the fan base has been screaming for.
Right.
I wouldn't even sit through a Mark Ruffalo fronted Hulk show. I don't think. Why the fuck am I going to care about She-Hulk?
Well, it really follows Marvel's early film formula of have the bad guy be the dark version of the good guy. I mean, they literally did it for every Iron Man had fucking Warmonger. Incredible Hulk had Abomination. Captain America, arguably, Red Skull is a byproduct of the Russian super soldier serum, or not Russian, not a German super soldier. Yeah. And that's a trope that I can't fucking stand. Is the bad guy is just a bad version of the good guy. Like, I understand why it exists and I understand why it's been used, but it's so tired at this point. And I don't think there's a way that you can make that feel new because there's no imagination to it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that kind of plays into my hatred of that film. Also, the Ed Norton thing kind of annoys me. I mean, this is Marvel trying to go, oh, look, Mark Ruffalo and Tim Roth are going to be here. So remember,
show up for it. Watch it.
He's really the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I don't, fucking whatever. I mean, what happened to Liv Tyler? Is she coming back? Wouldn't mind seeing her pop up.
Yeah, honestly.
Let's just smooth things over with the rest of the family. You know what I mean?
Wasn't her character canonically supposed to be She-Hulk? I
don't know.
Well, God, because her father's the general, whose name I can't think of right now. Because who the fuck cares?
Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. General, who gives a fuck? Yeah. His daughter. His daughter, I think, at one point.
Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, his daughter, I think, in the comic books at one point did become a variation of the Hulk, which was like this ultimate irony because he had been chasing the Hulk for years, right?
I'm not sure.
I
couldn't tell you.
I'm either like it's either a weird lucid dream that I've had over the course of the last 10 years. It
just keeps coming back. I don't know why.
Yeah, or it actually exists. I don't have time to Google it right now, but
that's why I think you should always be Sleepy Scott. I just think it makes things more interesting. You say things and nobody can really dispute them, so we just there's some value to that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll move on while he looks that up. The next piece of news was actually something that interested me. So they are going to have a show called Secret Invasion, which is something we thought would be saved for a big film kind of crossover. Secret Invasion was a big comic book crossover when it happened. As we all know, the Skrulls can shapeshift from Captain Marvel. That was a big thing in the Marvel universe. It was basically like a who's secretly a Skrull type thing. It was a big comic book event where some of the Marvel heroes turned out to be Skrull impersonators.
Yep.
They're bringing back Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, of course. Ben Mendelsohn's coming back as Talos. and I kind of liked his character a whole lot from Captain Marvel. It was one of the better parts, in my opinion, and I'm always here for the practical makeup that they use for those Skrulls. They were pretty cool looking. So I'm actually I was a little surprised when I heard the announcement that they were making this a show, because again, I figured this would be saved for a big movie crossover, something to tie into the next phase. However, I'm happier that it's a show because they can give more time to all of the massive magnitude of shit that happened in the Secret Invasion kind of crossover. And if they can get cameos from enough bigger Marvel stars, this could be kind of a big deal of a show. I don't know, but there's not a whole bunch to go off of here besides the announcement of the show and those two people who are in it. So we don't know when it takes place, timeline wise, none of that shit. So, Scott, how do you feel about Secret Invasion?
I'm really not excited whatsoever.
Okay.
I'm extremely underwhelmed by it.
You just put Derek at least half mass.
Yeah. First and foremost, let me follow up.
9,
let me follow up by saying that Elizabeth Ross is the daughter of General Thaddeus E. Thunderbolt Ross, or AKA General Who Gives a Fuck. She has undergone multiple transformations, including the anti-heroine Red She-Hulk, or She-Hulk. I'm not kidding. They called her She-Hulk. R-U-L-K. I hate everything. I want to go walk out into traffic, but I don't live on a busy highway, so it would be a long walk to get to traffic. So I guess I'll just finish the podcast.
You just gotta want it bad enough. You can find a car.
You can sprint to the nearest highway.
I'm like half a mile from Delsey Drive. There's no way I'm sprinting barefoot that far. I'll step on something and then get bored and turn back. I don't know, dude. Like the Secret Invasion or Secret Wars, whatever you wanted to call it, I thought would be something that would work well in Phase 4 as like an overarching narrative. It could be an interesting way to tie things together if they didn't make it so in your face. You know what I mean? Like having it also gave them a chance to wipe the slate clean with certain characters, to explain away certain characters who are no longer with us, like T'Challa.
Yeah.
Or to, if they wanted to at some point, which I think inevitably they will bring back Robert Downey Jr. in some capacity, because he's gonna need that paycheck and their franchises are gonna be dwindling. I don't know, man. To me, as a series, it's underwhelming because they are going to have all those cameos, undoubtedly. It's going to be a contractual obligation. Everyone wants to stay a main staple in the MCU, but it's going to be more of the Mandalorian thing, where it's just like, it's because of these people are only signed on to do X amount of episodes. Everything's going to be so compartmentalized, and it's not going to feel like a giant story. It's going to feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to me. You know what I mean? Like whenever they had like a crossover on a show like that, or like something in the fucking Arrowverse or some bullshit, it was always just like wrapping everything up in a neat little package at the end of an episode or two, so they could just move on and keep that guest appearance self-contained. And to me, that's not something you should have to keep in mind when you're interested in crafting an interesting story, especially one like this that had the grand scope of this could have serious ramifications for the entire MCU. This is something I would have been excited for, but I'm already disinterested just hearing that it's a TV show.
Fair enough.
I just don't care about Nick Fury. Like, I never liked him as a character. Like, out of all the like secondary and tertiary characters, he was always my least favorite. I can't stand Sam J in 95% of the roles that he's in. He's just the motherfucker guy. That's all no, really. He just shows up. He's overpaid, and he just says motherfucker, and people love it for some reason.
Would say that Nick Fury is basically PG Sam Jackson. Like, just normal Sam Jackson. PG.
That's what I mean. Like, and it's been like 20 years now. He's doing the same thing. Nobody's caught on to it somehow. I don't understand it.
I mean, no, we all know. We all know.
So, like, I don't, whatever. This is totally in the, like, fucking Z list for me. Not that I won't check it out eventually, but it's not, like, of the very few of these that I'm anticipating. This is on the fucking bottom of the list. It couldn't get further down. Fair.
Okay. I mean, like we talked about, some of these are just not going to do it. Even for me, there's one on this list that we're about to get to that I'm like, fucking really? Okay. Yeah. You did that. So there's two shows coming up that were all basically related to Iron Man. Surprise. Marvel was finding more ways to sort of, pepper the field with things related to Tony Stark, even posthumously. So the first one I'm slightly interested in, only because I know who the character is. The second one is the one I can't fucking stand. So the first series is called Ironheart, and it follows just Dominic Thorne is the actress who was cast to play or portray Riri Williams, who is basically like a young teen inventor. She's like a genius. She invents her own suit of armor that's basically Iron Man. In the comic books, I didn't read her whole arc, but I know what happens. So Tony Stark is, I don't know if he was lost or in a coma or something, but he basically programmed an AI of himself, and it was like a fail-safe plan. And she kind of stumbles upon it somehow. Again, I don't remember specifics. So it's kind of cool because in her suit, her AI is Tony Stark, and he's sort of like helping her.
Essentially Edith. Even in death, I'm the hero. Exactly.
So she literally has Tony Stark in her ear in the comic books and is able to like kind of be her mentor, even though it's an AI. But I mean, you know, obviously it's Tony Stark tech, so it's pretty advanced. And it's I don't know. It could be cool. That of the two of those, that's the one that I don't hate. I think it could be kind of neat. I thought Ironheart was there. If you Google Ironheart, there's some cool images. They definitely did some unique things with the series. Again, much like the Gore the God Butcher stuff. This is very recent. Like Ironheart happened, less than 10 years ago. Yeah. It's a newer offshoot storyline.
Do we have a release date for Ironheart?
No.
Okay, good.
They just announced it's coming. They didn't say when.
Okay. My only concern with this would be that it's just too soon. Tony Stark just died.
Yeah,
I think we all need a slight reset button on the Iron Man vibes in the MCU.
Yeah,
I mean, like I think that it is an important character. It is cool that we're gonna see representation.
Yeah,
especially like for like young people of color in the MCU. But it's just too soon to reboot that character.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's
100% agree.
It just needs a little bit of time to breathe. Like I could see that on the slate for 2023, 2024. And be excited to watch it. But it's just like we're getting beaten down and battered with constant announcements of new shows and movies, and it's too much all at once. It's hard to get excited about anything because there's so much all at once, and it's you kind of
it is a bit overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming.
You kind of view it as like how much of this is going to be good if they're creating all this at once. But then you have to take it back a minute and realize, all right, well they're probably announcing like a 4 to 5 year slate as they usually do.
Yeah,
they're kind of just updating it post-corona because all the things that should have been out already have been postponed a full year. So it seems like a lot because we're getting updates on stuff that was already slated to have been released by now or very, very shortly. And then we're also getting the projection of the normal 3 to 4 year cycle that they're announcing on a semi-yearly basis. So
it is also just saturation on top of saturation though, because it's not like the Phase 4 films are getting pared down at all. Like we still have all the Phase 4 films coming out. And now we have all these Disney Plus shows coming out, and it's a lot of shit. And don't get me wrong, I love superhero stuff. I don't think the genre is dying like Derek does.
Even with this dying breath of we have 10 shows, you still don't think maybe it's on its way out?
I'm entirely with Derek on this one. Like this is there's some stuff I'm excited for, but it needs to fucking end. It's too much.
Even with all right, you guys know how I feel about Marvel. Even with Star Wars that I love, announcing 10 shows at once is holy shit.
It's a lot. I 100% agree. I legitimately expected Disney to go, oh, we're making Ahsoka and maybe one other thing.
Yeah. And that would have been great. This is way too much.
All I wanted was an Obi-Wan trailer. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even care if it was all just deep faked. I just wanted to see Ewan McGregor. You know what I mean? I would have watched a fan-made, clearly fake trailer, of just all comp footage from the original prequel trilogy, and I would have been happy with that. Even I just want to see McGreg's.
I want McGreg's. All right, so Ironheart, and then the second one coming out related once again to Iron Man is Armor Wars. I don't know. Why is this happening? Who fucking knows? Much like the Black Widow film.
Don Cheadle said yes. That's what's happening.
They got a B-lister to say yes, so they went through with it.
Yeah, in the same vein as the Black Widow film, where I don't give a fuck about her character because we've seen enough of her in the movies to put together a character arc and whatever.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle returns as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, in Armor Wars, an original series coming to Disney Plus. A classic Marvel story about Tony Stark's, name drop, worst fear coming true. What happens when his tech falls into the wrong hands? I don't know. All 3 of the Iron Man movies, we've fucking seen this.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed at this announcement. Look,
This could have been a one-off episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like seeing them deal with the repercussions. It's unnecessary. I love Don Cheadle. I'm glad to see him to get a paycheck, but not like this.
He is great. I felt bad when I called him a B-lister because he's an excellent actor. But this is just a classic case of like, I hate when a story can't let a fucking character just die. And I hate it even worse when they want to kill the character and leave them alive at the same time. It's like, Tony Stark, you killed him. And it was cathartic for a lot of people. And it's like, all right, so just let him be dead now. Not every new story has to trace back to like, oh, but something Tony left behind for blah, blah, blah. And Peter's wondering if he will live up to Tony. It's like, all right, he's dead. Like, it's okay. Let new actors, let new talent, new characters, new interesting things fill that vacancy that you made with his death, which, again, a lot of people considered a great death. So let him die. Like, stop making, I don't know. It just seems lazy to me. It's like they're taking a formula that worked for them, and, you know, they have a fucking closed loop on it, but now they're trying to like reopen it to like siphon off of it. Just let it be what it was. It's
really annoying because it's like they're not starving for material to work off of. So it's really just like they're turning like a subplot thread from any of the Iron Man films into like a full series. Like, what happens if it falls? It's grinding on me so hard in this particular instance that I'm not sure why, because it just feels like on top of Ironheart, whatever, new kid in a suit of armor. Like, sure, it's tangentially related to Tony Stark, but like, he's not going to be the focus. She didn't have a fucking relationship with him. We're not going to have to deal with that. Spider-Man, I was okay with because that was the first film after he died, and he was a mentor figure. So of course, it's going to impact the storyline of his film, is how he's dealing with it.
Yeah.
No, just like fucking, I don't give a shit what War Machine's doing after Endgame. I really fucking don't. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, but like, just send him off into the sunset. He lived a happy, crippled but not really lifestyle with those legs. He's having a good time drinking some scotch. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't need to know.
We all know what he's doing. He's standing behind somebody else who's an A-list hero and backing them up. Like that's what he. No, like let's be honest. Like let's no. Don't even wow me like that's it. Like,
no, I agree. I'm just saying that was like really blunt. I appreciate it.
Derek probably was again probably put him a little closer to midnight there.
Okay, well I thought you guys were giving me the silent treatment as if like, oh man.
No.
You said something mean about Don Cheadle. I'm like, well, I love Crash. Let's calm down. No, but it's
Crash is a great fucking movie.
Yeah, the thing is that there's so many characters and so many stories out there that I would love to see them get the jump on and put all the resources into.
Yeah.
One of which we're talking about next, which is the Fantastic Four reboot. Subtle segue. I just don't think there's a story to tell here. I think it's literally just, hey, remember this guy. You know what I mean? Like for the very few people who are diehard fans, great. But I remember playing like the Capcom versus Marvel games back in the day, and I thought War Machine was something that they just made up. I'm like, oh, it's like for when two people want to play Iron Man, but they don't want to get confused as to who's who. You know what I mean? So they have like this grayed out version of Iron Man, so you can both play your favorite character and then not get all confused and like whatever the video game equivalent of Vertigo is with your Marvel vs. Capcom.
I should have reorganized these because I was doing I was waiting for the trailers for last, but
okay.
That's why I was kind of doing them out of fucking order. But I did skip the Fantastic Four thing, so let's cycle back because you mentioned it. So after like literal months of speculation, we know that they are finally bringing Marvel's first family, as they love to fucking call them, to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are releasing this film in an undisclosed year because they didn't fucking tell us, and it's coming from the director of Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming, John Watts. They have not released anything besides the logo, so this is going to be one of those quick hit fucking news topics to talk about. But cool. I mean, we all figured it was fucking coming when the rights came over. I don't particularly care or like the Fantastic Four all that much. Like, I don't care.
You said the first family. They're honestly the worst family.
Awful.
Burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, like, my image of them is so tarnished. There's no way that I can enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like, Fan Four Stick was the worst thing that ever happened. It was the worst movie. Did you guys see it? I hope you didn't. It's really bad.
One?
The most recent one.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
The only good thing that comes out of these movies is that we'll get to see Doctor Doom realized.
Well, will we? Because they thought that about Fan Four Stick and it didn't happen.
Fan Four Stick.
That's how they stylized it. So that's what I'm going to call it forever. Okay.
Fan Four Stick?
It was the way they wrote the
yeah. If you just look up like the title, it has a 4 in the middle instead of an A. It's terrible.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think Doctor Doom is one of the most interesting Marvel villains of all time. Honestly,
yeah.
I've always loved the character. I even loved his portrayal in the original Fantastic Four movies, even though those movies were just god awful.
Yeah,
you could have showed us Galactus, but you gave us a giant swirling space tornado. Fuck you. You wasted your CGI budget on that horse shit.
Yeah,
like we all saw Mission to Mars and were pissed off by the giant red tornado on that shit. Then you followed it up with the fucking Galactus tornado. I don't know, man. Like Doctor Doom's cool. The Fantastic Four are boring. Ben has some interesting personality traits in the comic books.
He's got some shit to work through for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, Johnny's like is essentially Deadpool without half of the subtlety or nuance.
Right. That's accurate.
Yeah. Reed Richards is just, I don't know. He's good guy, stretchy man. Like there's such bland.
He is
characters.
The most boring character ever written in all time. My God.
Yeah. Like I don't know.
He's
like,
more of a Boy Scout than Captain
America.
Man from now on.
Good guy, stretchy man.
I'll give you that though. Captain America. I'm a huge fan of Chris Evans, but Captain America is usually written as like the unsalted, the unseasoned broccoli of superheroes.
Yeah.
And somehow Reed Richards makes him look like he's cheddar broccoli bites. You know what I mean? Like you drench that shit in cheddar cheese and you
got some ranch on there. Mm.
Yeah. Like oh man, like suddenly this is fantastic compared to this other thing. Can
I just say, even though I don't like Captain America, Chris Evans, what a honey, what a hunk of meat. My God,
can't wait for him to start graying, is what I'm saying.
Him being cast as Buzz Lightyear too. Oh boys.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't even put that in the doc because we had too much other shit to talk about.
That's why all I'm gonna say is goddamn. All right. Yeah. To infinity and beyond is where my boner's going. God, that's gross.
Very nice.
Yeah. And if Jessica Alba can't make Sue Storm likable, then who the fuck's gonna?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that just kind of that pretty much sums it all for me. None of these characters are extremely noteworthy or likable, but I thought the same thing about Iron Man before I saw Robert Downey Jr. take on the mantle. So who knows, man? It could be one of those things where casting really does carry the movie, but I think that's going to be everything because none of their stories are particularly interesting.
Yeah.
When your antagonist outshines your entire foursome in every single iteration, like there's a problem with the root of these characters.
There's some good character traits to these four. Again, that they like the personality things they have to suffer through. They kind of have some of the same problems that like the mutants suffer through in the comic books, like social alienation and stuff like that.
I mean,
especially with the Thing.
Yeah.
And Human Torch has some stuff with that, but he can switch it off. You know.
Well, they're kind of like rock stars though. Like they have all the
right.
They're kind of like the polar opposite of mutants, where mutants are hissed at and like rejected by society. The Fantastic Four were celebrated. Ben, I mean, you see like certain moments where Ben is kind of like really down on himself because people treat him differently. He's kind of ostracized. But I feel like they're just boring. They're just like hero worship mutants. Like that's how I would sum up the Fantastic Four. Take everything interesting about the X-Men and remove it, and you have the Fantastic Four.
And really, you got to think about it. Like, why do the general public in the Marvel universe, like, how are they okay with the Fantastic Four because they got their power through cosmic radiation, but just because the mutant powers come from genetics, they're like, no, fuck this guys, treat them like they're black
those
people.
Guys are the worst.
Oh my god!
Well, in fairness, it was an allegory for like
I know, but just
race relations.
But just the way you said that, I was like, oh my god!
I imagine it was shocking.
But
yeah, the point was to be shocking with it because I mean, there's no mistaking it. They treat mutants an allegory for racism. I mean, in every faction of how they deal with it, like they do like mutant only schools, like really bad shit that references, racism. So I apologize if that was startling to anybody, but
that was a little jarring. But
you should know that it was, made with only reference intentions and not. You should know that we're not. Whatever. I'm just gonna stop talking. Anyway,
no. Keep digging yourself into a hole. Just keep explaining and explaining.
I'm gonna put the shovel noise in the podcast.
Like fucking.
So you're not excited about the Don Cheadle Disney Plus show, Chris? Go on.
Oh no! we did kind of bounce around a little bit.
Can I gotta pee, man. It's been almost 2 hours. I gotta do it. I was trying to make
I'm gonna cover one series that I know you will have nothing good to say about.
I don't even need to know what it is. I trust that you know me well enough that I probably don't.
Ready, break. So the last show for the Disney announcements that we didn't cover was the I Am Groot animated show. I could not care any less. Yeah. Can we do nothing but make raspberries to describe this show? Like, much like Groot only ever talks by saying his own name.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this at all. Like, I don't. I'm glad that you're on the same page about that, because it's.
Yeah, they're doing it's so. I mean, I'll explain what it's going to be to kill time until he comes back from taking a piss. But I mean, Baby Groot is going to. They specifically said Baby Groot, which look, we weren't podcasting when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, but I hated the fact that they made Groot a baby in that film so much that it was palpable. Like I have like Derek levels of hatred for what they did with Groot in that film, solely because it was nothing but a soulless cash grab to sell Baby Groot toys.
It was like the Porgs from Last Jedi.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like
100%.
if you know anything about Marvel Comics, even like a peripheral knowledge of Marvel Comics, then you would know that Groot can grow back almost instantaneously. Like, it certainly doesn't take any measurable amount of time to.
Yeah,
like,
you watch him rip his arms off in combat in the prison in Guardians 1, and then literally grows his limbs back immediately. Like, you watch it happen like it's like Wolverine.
And not only that, but when he does get damaged and has to regenerate, he doesn't like lose his memories and become an actual like baby again that needs to be taught things about the world. So
yeah,
his fucking like his growth pattern makes no sense. They are using it to their advantage. They're like, oh, he's a baby here, and he's going to be a bitchy teenager by the time at the end, so we can make a fucking teenager joke about it. I hated everything they did with him in that film, and I was very vocal about it. He's going to be animated in a series of shorts. It's called I Am Groot, and I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah,
besides,
I am bored. Yeah. I don't know.
Sick burn, bro.
Yeah. You know what I actually do want to talk about?
What's that?
I have a follow-up on Simps for Satan.
Oh, okay.
Remember how I told you guys I didn't want to tell that bit because it was too soon. I had just started.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, the reason I didn't want to tell the whole Simps for Satan joke is because I was dating the girl it was about, kind of like low key. And I didn't know whether she listened to the podcast.
Jesus.
I didn't know whether she listened to the podcast or not. But that's why I was like, oh, I can't do it. But like, just confirmed. First of all, she does listen to the podcast, and she was outraged that I called her an astrology hoe. Outraged.
Nice.
Outraged. So I'm not dating her anymore.
Sounds like a real astrology hoe, though. Sounds like a real Gemini. You know
we
what
hear
I mean?
this, and the Glurb would like to apologize to the astrology hoe. I don't have her name written down here.
Yeah. No, I just want to take the time to double down on it because you're the worst. If you in any way believe that your star sign determines what kind of person you are, and that it's not just all randomized, vague flattering, then I hope you're not a nurse or no, like I hope you're not like an RN. Right. Or like anybody, like even a school bus driver, anybody who's responsible for the safety and well-being of other people. I hope that's not you. Because
hopefully you're a finger painter or something like that professionally.
Yeah. I hope you do a lot of work with,
you know?
Yeah, like you do a lot of work with popsicle sticks and glitter. That's where you're best suited. You know, that manager. No, not everyone can hold that prestigious managerial position at AC Moore or Joanne Fabrics, and you did it. You did it. Good for you.
Yeah, you really nailed that. Keep it up.
I mean, just all I would say is just keep on with the good fight. Keep keeping Elmer's glue in business by eating all of it whenever you get a chance. I mean, I think my horoscope, the last time I checked, it was probably like you're gonna find the strength to do something. Like it's the most stupid generalized bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, that really is me. I can't believe it got so accurate with all the details.
Yeah,
soon
but
you'll be faced with a decision, and you're gonna pick one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. Like they're also like you will overcome a great struggle, but it's like it's 2020, man. Getting out of bed every day is a fucking struggle for everyone. You know, like when I not only put pants on, but I make sure that they're clean before I put them on. I'm like, I did it.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Like look at us. Like that Paul Rudd meme. Like, look at it. Who would have thought? Not me. Not me.
All right, we still have a lot of stuff to cover, and we are running out of time here. Let's
very briefly. I just want to say that Veronica just told me that she very audibly farted when she walked by, and that it should be audible. She told me exactly where it is. So please don't edit it out because I look forward to finding.
I would never. I would never.
Okay, thank you.
So we got about a half hour left until we all got to go, right?
Yeah, we should have enough time. We just gotta keep the light on our feet here, right? So this kind of ties back into the Ironheart news, and I'll tell you how. They announced that they were not going to recast T'Challa after the unfortunate news that Chadwick Boseman passed away, lost his battle with cancer. And so you know, they said this, I believe, after he passed, but it's worth reiterating that they are not going to recast him. And I assume popular theory is that Shuri will likely be the replacement Black Panther, which I'm 100% on board with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to imagine, and it's kind of a no shit statement, but I have to imagine that his death shuffled a couple things up at Marvel. So there were rumors for quite a bit that they might do an Ironheart thing, and that Shuri might be the one to take up the mantle because we already know how smart she is, and that she's good with technology. So Shuri was kind of like for lack of better terminology, like a shoe-in for being the Ironheart person, kind of changing the mythos of Ironheart. But then again, Ironheart's a very new property, so no one's going to be pitchforking it if they put in a different protagonist. Now knowing that she's the likely candidate to replace her brother as the new Black Panther in Black Panther 2, I would imagine that's probably why Ironheart is now being played by Riri Williams. And a Disney Plus show. That's just speculation. There's no news articles about it, but we put the news article on here that he will not be recast. And I mean, there's not really a ton to say besides it's respectful. So
if they had made any other decision, it would be disgusting. That's the only thing I have to say about it. I'm happy that that's like their decision, but if they did anything else, people would have fucking hated them for it, and they know it. Yeah. So,
and that's the thing. Like, it's no secret that I am a piece of shit when it comes to like continuity, but when you see the announcement of his passing on like a Wednesday, and by Thursday morning people are already speculating about what the MCU's move's going to be. It's tasteless.
It's gross. Yeah.
It's that to me is where fanboyism crosses the fucking line. We talked about last week. Like there's a fine line between fandom and decency. You know what I mean? And it's possible to be a decent fan. But when your only concern is, all right, well, we need to get some casting news. What's going on with this property now? It's like, dude, like first of all, let everyone who worked with this man, everyone who his friends, his family, his fans, his loved ones, let everyone mourn. And like obviously, this is the only way to go. Like they did the right thing. Like you said, anything else would have been disrespectful. But I think having his sister step up and take the mantle would be appropriate if anyone's going to, or maybe we just have a story that centers around the absence of him in the same way that Spider-Man centers around the absence of Tony Stark. My only question would be is how are they going to handle it canonically in the MCU? His passing, are we gonna have to watch him die on screen? I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully they don't have to show us an on-screen death of the character. Yeah. But they literally just brought him back from the snap, and it's like it's gonna be difficult to write him out again in a way that's gonna feel like it is respectful and does justice to the character, because a character like that wouldn't go out, like a bitch.
In the way that Harrison Ford is going to go out. Yeah, not going to trip and land on a nail or anything.
Well, the thing is, are they gonna do something where they're gonna meet it head on and have him maybe die of something that's outside of the realm of his control, like something that is a terminal illness? Like, I mean, that would probably be a little too close to home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
But we talked about how they had the storyline in Thor where Jane had cancer. So I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility for them to adopt something like that, where it's showing that even people who are extremely powerful and everyone's still human. Everyone still has vulnerability, and it doesn't matter what kind of person. Some things just win. No.
Yeah, I think the most tasteful way to do it is basically what you're saying. Like off screen, they of course mention it, do some kind of like meta tribute to the actor and to the character, and then it's like, just move on. Just let him, you know.
I don't know if you guys heard this news. I didn't put it in the doc because it's really just a mention type thing. But they, for the Black Panther movie currently streaming on Disney Plus, they redid the Marvel intro, much like they did a Stan Lee tribute after he passed in the opening credits of one of the film, a Captain Marvel film, I believe. They did the same thing for him on the Disney Plus. It's nice. It's a nice nod. I mean,
yeah, even a cold, hard cynic like me, that kind of got through a little bit. I was like, that's a fucking cool move.
Yeah, it's classy because, you know, I mean, obviously we know that they are fucking rolling in Scrooge McDuck money over at Disney, but like to spend resources making that just to say, you know, condolences to the family and to the fans, it's a nice nod.
Yeah.
Okay, but moving along to our next piece of news, we have 3 articles. They're all pretty quick hits here, not a lot of depth to dive into. And then we have our trailers to talk about, and then Mando. So I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Which there's just still a lot of shit. So they've announced that Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're saying we're in a sphincter then, right?
Yes, we are. So we're colon cleansing each week.
Sure, it's stinky in here, boys.
Is this the beginning of Stinky Butt Butt Man?
This is the beginning of Stinky Butt Butt Man.
Yeah, all right. That's my guy.
So they have announced they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special in 2022, which means it was.
Moving on.
Which means that, let me get through it and then we'll move on. Which means that it will officially come out before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is scheduled for 2023. James Gunn wrote it. It's going to be a Disney Plus special. It's not being live action released. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
Derek?
No, this is, again, the shit on the wall metaphor. It's just like, oh, sure. James, that thing that you've been joking about for the past 10 years. Yeah, we'll let you do it. We'll fund that idea. It's dumb. Like, come on.
Also, is he the only director in like the fucking business that like he just mentions an offhanded idea he's got and someone just throws money at him? Because the same thing apparently happened with Peacemaker. Remember they were like, which character? And he was like, oh, I have a great idea for Peacemaker. And they're like, here's a wheelbarrow full of cash. Please go do that thing. And I like, good for him, but like also fuck you, because I get it. Gamora's green and Groot's an actual tree. There's room there for a holiday special, but I don't want it and I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I don't know.
We keep talking about how they're throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. This is that shit from that movie Hall Pass where the drunk lady sneezes and her diarrhea hits the back of the shower. This is that shit. Like, it's like, haha, yeah, okay, but ew, why? Gross, yuck. Next scene.
Very nice. Next piece of news, they've announced that a character named America Chavez, who goes by Miss America, guess who she's inspired by, will be appearing in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Here she is! We're scraping the bottom of the barrel! Miss America? Fuck you!
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Next!
At this point, everything they announced for Doctor Strange, it's like, all right, just shut the fuck up and make the movie. Like, I don't even know everybody that's in it.
No. I have something better for Scott, which is that, so her name's Miss America. Obviously, she takes inspiration from Captain America, but her power set is nothing like his. She can fly, super strength, and super speed. This is the article's words, not mine. Her coolest power is the ability to, quote, kick open star-shaped holes in reality, allowing her and her teammates to travel through the multiverse and into other realities.
Hopefully they travel. Hopefully this entire idea travels to another reality, and we don't have to watch it live on screen in ours.
Yeah, can we get a star-shaped hole kicked into our reality?
Yeah,
where we don't have to deal with this kind of shit.
Can she kick a star-shaped hole in my fucking chest so I don't have to watch this movie?
I mean, string theory dictates that there are infinite, endless realities full of endless possibilities. So in one reality, Chris, you read that bit of news to me, and I just stood up, stone-faced, went and bought an assault rifle, and climbed a clock tower somewhere.
Oh, no.
That's science, baby. Relax.
That's just true. It's true.
It's multiverse of madness, bro.
If you want to get real dark, technically there's a reality where all three of us did the exact same thing. Anyway, from that dark timeline,
there's star kick our way into another topic.
This article is also telling me she's a fan favorite, similar to Miss Marvel. I've never heard of her before.
Who gives a fuck?
Sorry. I understand where the tie-in might be. I assume it's going to be a cameo role because multiverse of madness, and she can apparently burst through star-shaped holes.
Yeah, I feel like I should rewind. I should star kick. Oh God. Can we pretend I said a Nerf gun? Can we pretend it was a Nerf gun? That's too much.
It was a Nerf gun. Yeah. We kicked our way into a reality where that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, buddy. So Ant-Man and the Wasp's official title is Quantumania.
Gross.
That was our last piece of written news.
So we can go right past that, right?
Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah. Well, that's actually a sizzle reel. So we're gonna keep doing that with the trailers.
All right.
And I might surprise you with the amount of hatred I hold.
Not anymore.
For a specific reason.
It might surprise you that Luke is actually Vader's son. Well, not anymore.
It would have.
Yeah.
Quantumania instantly reminds me of like 90s wrestling, and I think of Hulkamania. That's all my thoughts on this topic. Otherwise, who gives a shit? We knew Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 was going to deal with Quantum Realm because it's the next big frontier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's where I assume it's where Doctor Doom is going to be coming from or related to in some.
I think it's Kang the Conqueror, right?
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking of Kang the Conqueror. You are correct. So we're assuming the next villain, kind of one of the next big baddies, is going to be related to the Quantum Realm, and there's just a lot of unknowns in there, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. So I don't care. I don't have anything to say about this because there's no news besides, oh, you're titling it something that's directly related to the thing we all expected it to be about. Cool. Thoughts? Or are we good to just?
It's just the dumbest title I've ever heard in my life.
Can Paul Rudd just be a Ghostbuster right now? Can he just do that and shut the fuck up about?
Oh, he's gonna be a Ghostbuster. Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I haven't heard any updates on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, can we just get a trailer with him on screen? That's all I want in 2020. That's all I need to kind of like semi save this year.
Yeah,
I don't care about Ant-Man and the Wasp at all. I barely made it through the last one.
I thought they were okay as like just lighthearted films, but I just Quantumania. Didn't they actually like refer to the fact, like make some meta joke in Endgame, like, do you guys just put quantum in front of everything? And then they named a movie Quantumania.
Yeah,
like the first Ant-Man was a fun heist film. The cast was a big part of that. I think like having what's his name, Lewis. You know the guy.
Yeah, I know. I do. I don't know his name. I know the guy.
Yeah. Like it was just fun, man. The second one it had too much to do. It became like a larger part of setting up for Endgame, and it sucked a lot of the fun out of it. We're at a point now where there's so much cross contamination between some of these movies that they can't just be fun movies anymore. Because they have to hold up all these
something else.
Yeah, they have to prop up all these other things that are going on. It's just too much. It's just too much, and I just don't give a shit. If they're doing this just to introduce the next big bad, which is Kang the Conqueror, okay, but couldn't he have come from anywhere but the Quantum Realm? Like, aren't we done with that already? How long do I have to pretend to give a shit about the Quantum Realm? I just don't care.
I love all this MCU hate tonight. I didn't even influence any of this. You guys started talking about it. It's great.
But it's just bad. It's just bad.
They brought it on themselves with just this, like you said, there's a glut of content. It's just an onslaught on the fucking senses. And then on top of it, why would you even announce that? Like, why is that in your investor call? Put it out as a news article on some random fucking Tuesday. I don't care. You're not giving me any real meat about the story.
Show me Angeline Lilly's butthole or get the fuck off my news feed.
I'm on board with that. I mean, I don't know about threatening to, do that or get off my news feed, but definitely show it to me.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Please.
Just one time.
Okay. Now we have to talk about our Marvel trailers. We're gonna have to get through these quick. We're running low on time, and I want to talk about Mandalorian. So they released a new WandaVision trailer. My biggest question about this is Derek, does this trailer still tickle you in an interesting way like the other one did? Are you still looking forward to it? Because I am. I think that trailer was good, and it just looks like a weird fucking trip, and I want to be on board.
Of everything that was announced, and obviously this was already announced, but this new fucking just shotgun blast of shows and movies and stuff. I think that I'm looking forward to this more than anything else. Other than maybe the new Thor movie, because I love Taika Waititi, but no, I loved the trailer. It's just weird. I'm super into it.
Yeah, it is very weird. And can I just suggest, instead of shotgun blast of news, can we say bukkake of news?
Oh yeah, bukkake of news. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It just ropes out too many ropes to handle.
Booze cocky?
Booze cocky. Yeah, I mean, I thought the
news
trailer...
cocky. News cocky. There we go.
Damn, that,
News
news
cocky.
good actually.
Is that a title?
It might be
Feels
news
like
cocky.
it might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be 2 podcasts that have to do with bukkake. I'm totally on board with that, but I'm just...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We gotta balance it out. Then we gotta have another one about buttholes too. You know, we gotta just even everything out.
Evangeline Lilly's butthole.
I mean, but there's also Upshill Battle.
Upshill Battle was pretty good.
Upshill
Battle.
Battle.
Pretty good. You had one at the beginning, Derek, that was just choice.
I feel like the Disney news kake is pretty good though. That's gets the point across.
I would be okay with that. We just said the artwork for it has to be unique. It can't be another pancake image.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't be cum either. Can't put any cum in the image.
No, we can't do none of it. You can print it out and come on the image if you're really dirty.
Yeah. I would say if you want, you could print out a picture of Walt Disney himself, and I'll do a cum tribute. Send it back to you.
Oh no! If you want, and if you want anything
from content only,
if you want anything from Derek or I, all you have to do is send us a picture of I don't know,
Evangeline Lilly's butthole.
Yeah,
and then we'll print that out. And I was gonna say Timothy Oliphant, or one of our gray-haired men. Scott, because I'm trying to keep us on track. How did you feel about this trailer? Still on board? Still interested?
No. It kind of pulled back the curtain and showed us a lot of action set pieces that are obviously going to be later in the season. And the one thing I thought that this had going for it was that air of mystery. It was kind of like, you knew it was going to be kind of like Lost and that you're going to be peeling back layers. Obviously with this, there's going to be more of a concise narrative and an actual beginning, middle, and end to it. That makes sense.
Right.
But to me, that was half the fun was not knowing what was going on. And now you see them in costumes fighting in this small sect of their neighborhood. And to me, it just looks like eventually it's going to devolve into a carbon copy of everything else we get from the MCU that everyone's admittedly a little sick of, unless there's some new twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I'm still very interested in it. I mean, there's a really cool scene that they've shown previously, but they got a little bit better of a look at it in this one where Vision's in a comic book cloth costume during Halloween, and that just looks really fucking neat. And then there's something going on. It looks like she's got hold of this area and she's manipulating it. And there's some kind of military. We talked about it before. Maybe Shield or a sword is trying to get in. We don't know what the villain or the enemy is going to be. I mean, she might end up being the enemy because it looks like she might take kind of a crazy turn in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, for me, the big mysteries are, how is Vision back? How are they explaining that? Is it literally going to be just because she wanted it to fucking happen? If so, lazy, but okay, I'll take it. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it still. I think it looks like one of the cooler projects that's coming out of Marvel at the moment.
I do agree. It was weird that they showed the military trucks driving in, because that, to me, I'm with you on that, was a bit of a tell. It's okay, so they're in some kind of containment, Matrix type thing or something,
And then they show her flying and doing a flying punch at one point. I was like, man.
Yeah. It was a little too much of a tell. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But I'm still into it. I'm still very interested.
I wouldn't cringe to see that on screen, in the context of the show, but seeing it before I even watched the fucking intro for the first time. You know what I mean? It's just it takes you out of it.
It felt like they were making sure that the superhero gang would show up for it. They're still punching bad guys and flying through the air. It's that's going to happen. You didn't have to put that in.
Yeah.
All right, so WandaVision comes out January 15th. It is the closest thing to release right now. It's just over a month away, so we'll be sure to check it out when it comes out. Next up, there is a quick look at the animated Disney series of What If, which is literally just, taking different weird scenarios and making them happen. I don't particularly, it's kind of, some of these concepts look neat, but I'm not dying to watch it when it comes out. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. I'm okay with pretty much glossing over it. How do you feel about it, Derek?
I've never seen a concept that I could care about less be presented more just awesomely. When I saw the title What If, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're going to switch shit around, right? That animation style was beautiful, though. I was like, all right, I'm actually kind of into this. That's it. I mean, they didn't give you a whole lot to go on. They're just put, the way things happen, switches around a little bit in certain
Peggy Carter's Captain UK or whatever.
Captain UK, yeah. That animation style was so good that I'm like, I'm gonna watch this for sure. Stupid concept though. Who cares? We don't need to see permutations of every fucking reality.
Yeah, they're literally what happened if the Ravagers picked up T'Challa.
Yeah.
And he, you know, I mean, like it's just that kind of stuff. Surprise, basically the same shit that happened to Star-Lord anyway, so...
You know what happens? Peter Quill ends up in like a fucking group home is what happens. It's real sad for Peter Quill.
He never finds a home. Yeah. He just gets tossed around in the system till he's 18. Then he becomes a heroin addict. It's fucked up.
Oh, dark. That got dark. All right, moving on. Unless you have any thoughts to add to that, Scott.
No.
About the what if stuff?
Peter Quill, heroin. That's about it. That wraps it up.
All right, good. Yeah, these are topics to write down in the outline. The next up is a clip they released for the Loki show that's coming in May of 2021. I was actually very interested to see how Derek felt about this because initially I was of the thought that I don't give a shit about this series. I was like, I don't care. I've had enough of Tom Hiddleston. I like Tom Hiddleston. He's a charming actor. I don't give a fuck. I liked this look at the show. I liked it quite a bit. They did a lot of interesting Marvel kind of lore exploration in this, with the TVA being prominent, and I don't know. Fucking Owen Wilson, really.
Yeah.
Besides his acting, they gave him a little too much talky in the fucking trailer.
Much, really.
Yeah.
Will we get an Owen Wilson wow out of this? Is the only question that needs to be answered.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we do. Scott, how did you feel about the Loki first look?
It's one of the few Disney Plus Marvel shows that I'm actually excited for, because the possibilities are endless. You know what I mean? It just looks really interesting. We see him in a lot of different alternate realities. Obviously, the time variance. What are they called?
Authority.
Time variance authority. It tracks him down and imprisons him at one point for stealing the Tesseract. But I think it's going to be interesting to see Hiddleston kind of just have his own show, because he was always one of the more interesting parts about those early Thor movies and those early Avengers films.
Yeah,
so, I'm all for anything they want to throw him in, as long as they can keep it just different enough that it doesn't feel like we're rehashing the same kind of shit as we do.
Yeah. Derek?
I've never seen anything that was so room temperature in my entire life than the preview for Loki. What happened there? What happened in that? Can anyone tell me anything that happened? It was just different costumes.
Time variance authority captures him for stealing the Tesseract and bebopping throughout time. And
right, and he's just in different rooms talking to different people.
And it looks like he might be working for them a little bit.
With different haircuts, Derek.
Oh, okay. All right. You're right. Yeah, totally. No, I know they threw Owen Wilson in there to try and make it interesting, which is great because he was in, all those good movies that Owen Wilson was in. We could all name.
Shanghai Noon is a national treasure. You hold your tongue.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's really... Totally. The biggest thing he's known for is what we already just said, the joke we made, just saying, wow, that's,
Yeah, but
I don't know why
also,
they gave him a mustache to make you go, oh, he has a mustache now. And
He's also in every single Wes Anderson movie that you probably fucking love, you hypocritical piece of shit.
That's a very good point.
I do love most of them.
Yeah, and he's fantastic at them because he actually is a good actor. But
he's in them. He's definitely in them.
But also, like, Wes Anderson has been remaking the same movie in a different setting for the last 20 fucking years. It's all the same. I think the Fantastic Mr. Fox is the only deviation from the formula in 20 years.
If you haven't seen The Grand Budapest, the worst part about that movie is that it ends. Everything has to end eventually, right? That movie is a fucking dream that you never want to wake up from. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, and I would like to hear your honest opinion. It is a fucking joy. It is a fucking great movie. No, I wasn't into it. It just seemed like, again, I'm going to watch it. I know that they're putting a lot of their eggs in this basket. The trailer was boring to me. It wasn't like bad.
Really?
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just exactly in the fucking like actual middle of like down to the fucking atom in the middle of the road for me. It was just like, all right, all I could say was like, I just watched that. Okay. Oh, he's an I voted sticker on at the end. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very
Derek,
stylized. I get
Derek,
it. But
what happens when you split an atom directly down the middle?
It blows up. A big old, there's the power of the sun.
Yeah. So you think about the analogy you just made, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with the analogy. It does look like it's split directly down the middle.
Right, like it's just a shit show, and 300,000 people are going to die. Yeah, we agree that. Okay.
Oh no. Even like the Black Widow quick shot didn't like interest you at all.
Are we interested in Black Widow all of a sudden? We talk shit on her every week. We find a way to.
We're really not at all. I'm not going to pretend to back you on this one.
No. It's not that I'm interested in her character development. We've already discussed that I have no interest in another character arc. But like they showed her in what looks like it might be the Soul Realm or something. She's just like sitting and there's like an orange glow behind. I don't know. I thought that was cool. The fact that it's the TVA interests me infinitely more. They're basically the time cops of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know. I think it has a lot of runway to be an interesting show, and I hope that it is. But we got to keep moving because we're
just one thing. I'm sorry. I mean, it gives us an opportunity to see something along the lines of Stargate or Sliders or even Quantum Leap in the MCU, where he can go through time and different alternate realities and correct wrongs. Like he could do things in this series that could alter the entire timeline of the MCU and have serious ramifications if they decide to go that way. So there are endless possibilities for it. It could be really interesting if it's done right.
And not only that, but this is, remember, turn back to the good side-ish Loki. So he's still a bag of shit when this series starts, and we get to see if he's still destined to become a good guy in a different way. It's like an Earth 2 variation of a superhero's arc. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on. The next trailer is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is releasing on March 19th, 2021. Go ahead, Derek. I want you to start.
All right, I'm going to start with the positives. The first is this. I don't know if this is using the same technology that they're using The Mandalorian, but I'm just going to say that it was very well done. And it's nice that we're living in an age where we have TV shows that look like they're of the same quality of movies. And that is that genuinely the biggest thing that I took away from that trailer. I was like, this is crazy that I'm living in a time where I'm watching a trailer for a show that looks like what would be a fucking just the most expensive movie in the world when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's really exciting that we're kind of getting to that point of that. These studios are seeing that people watch shows enough and are probably even liking them more than movies a little bit in a lot of cases, that they're willing to fund them in a way that, you know, we, the viewer, get more out of that experience. So that's very fucking exciting. That being said, what a bad show. What a bad premise to waste that on. The whole time with the quips, everything that's wrong with like the latter half of the MCU is present in this fucking trailer. Just the constant like little quips with each other. Oh my God, it just takes you out of it. It's just like you're not even watching a narrative anymore. You're just watching guys who think they're funny jerk each other off. It just didn't look fun to me. I never cared about either of these characters. Like, they were good as we've said this a couple times tonight. As secondary characters, they were great. Some characters are good as secondary, but when they're in the forefront, they just don't. It just doesn't work. And I don't think
through the cracks. Yeah, Scott.
I mean, I really like Winter Soldier's character arc throughout the Captain America movies. Falcon, I think could have been fleshed out better. I think this is an opportunity for them to do that. Having said that, every line of dialogue, and there wasn't a lot in this, every line of dialogue in this made me cringe so fucking hard.
Oh, dude.
And I hate to be on the same page as Derek.
Oh my God, this is my time, baby. But midnight, we got there.
But the thing is, it's like they both have gone through a traumatic experience. They both essentially lost Cap, not the same way that everyone lost Tony, but there's still this emotional fallout of that. And we see these two characters kind of having like that, I fucking hate you, like that begrudging buddy cop lethal weapon horse shit. And it's like, can we get to Lethal Weapon 3 where they're fucking boys now? Can we fast forward to a point in time where their relationships evolve to a point where like we don't have to have that banter that's like we're watching them grow together? We've already done that. These are two people who need to be pitted against each other with the same objectives, but they both are vying for it. Or they have a common goal and they're working together as a finely tuned, well-oiled machine. Like, that's the only way this works for me. And if they're going to be doing those fucking Bad Boys 1 tropes the entire time, I don't want to see Bad Boys 3. Nobody wants to see fat, sweaty Martin Lawrence. But I want a Bad Boys 2 narrative where we know who these characters are already. We've established it. And we're just going to watch them kick the shit out of everyone who fucks up for the next 8 to 10 episodes of TV. That's what I want. If it's anything less than that, I'm not going to fucking finish it.
Fair.
Fair.
I don't know. So I have mixed feelings about it. I hated the dialogue. I thought that I actually, most of your guys' points, I thought that it looked great. I do like playing with the thematic elements of Captain America's iconography is complicated. He means different things to different people. He's no longer there. And no matter who you put behind the shield, someone's going to hate it. So like the government clearly wants to put their own person behind the shield. They do in this. They have somebody put on the Captain America outfit. They have somebody, I forget his name. They've announced it already. I'm being a bad host, but there's someone who takes on the mantle for the government to represent Captain America. Obviously, at some point, Falcon's probably going to take the fucking shield because he's the one that Steve Rogers wanted to have the shield. So I think the concept of kind of like who's going to take up the mantle is a cool concept, and one that at this point in time can really only be explored by Marvel, because it's almost like a who's going to take up the mantle of Batman, to bring it back to something that I hold near and dear. By the way, Dick Grayson's the only viable candidate. All the rest are terrible. An argument can be made for Tim Drake, but it's still Dick Grayson. Anyway, I think thematically that's cool. But the dialogue, oh boy, there's the fucking section where he's like, what's your plan? What's your plan? And I was like, are they really doing the joke from Avengers where Tony Stark's like, I have a plan, attack, and then fucks off out of the ship because the dialogue pushed his suit out because it was so fucking bad. Like I hated the fucking joke, and I don't know. I want the series to be good. I don't think it will be. That's all I have to say about it. All right, we have
God. This is great.
Derek has so much fapping material for after we get done.
I do. I have maximum cum power right now. I'm at like not maximum. I'm at like 90 right now, but
he's topping off.
Yeah,
that's the thing though, man. Like, it's not that me and Chris are like fanboys for the MCU. It's I can enjoy things if they're well compartmentalized or just well told stories. But it's like a lot of what we've gotten is just
it's lazy.
It's B-roll. It all feels like B-roll. A lot of it. And even some things I was really excited for, the way they've been presented, like WandaVision, it was presented in a way where it looks like more of the same to me now. Where like, if with the slow burn to get there, it won't feel like it. But that trailer, man, that just painted it as like another show I could give a fuck less about. Like it's
really,
yeah, honestly, because like it's Hellstrom now to me. It looks like it's just gonna be like they're trying to put a new twist on the same exact formula, and eventually we're just gonna boil it down. It's like if you're making apple pie moonshine, man. You let that shit boil too long, all you have left is the apple cider. All that hard grain alcohol is gone.
So it is like the one thing I'm going to say is that, if you look throughout, and this is, my prediction for the superhero industry as a whole, if you look throughout history and the different things that like the movie industry focused on, like Westerns, which is, I think, the only other like cinematic trend that has lasted longer than superhero, which superhero is now catching up to Westerns very quickly. Towards the end of it, what do? They started taking Western characters and putting them in scenarios that weren't typical to a Western movie as a way of seeing what else can we squeeze out of this genre before it dies. And I think that's what we're seeing with the superhero genre now. We're seeing WandaVision, where it's kind of like a weird, maybe like thriller-ish type thing, psych thriller, sort of like Truman Show. We're seeing like, oh, well, we're not going to do movies as much. We're going to do TV shows and see if we can get money there. That's the phase I think we're in with superheroes. I think that we have 5 years left and everybody's going to be over the formula. That's my prediction. It is December 13th on 2020, 7:59 p.m. And I think 5 years from this day, we're going to be talking about a completely different kind of genre of movie.
I think that's accurate, but it's going to be one of those things where like there's going to be rare standouts. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't a fan of Joaquin Phoenix in Joker, but a lot of people saw that movie as a fresh take on a tired genre, and for a lot of people that kind of like revitalized or repeaked their interest.
Yeah.
I think, with Ant-Man we see a great heist film in the vein of Ocean's 11 in the MCU. Multiverse of Madness is propped up to be sort of a horror film we've talked about before. When they're done well as genre films within that larger like canon, I think it works really, really well. The problem is, a lot of the time, it isn't written to be it isn't written to be anything other than just a popcorn movie. We see that like with Captain Marvel, like all the components are there. You have Brie Larson, who's clearly like a fucking A-list actress, but it's just there's no substance to it. There's no reason to give a shit, and that's one of like we talked about before. Like there's no real compelling villains in the MCU, with the exception of a few here and there. And we literally did a whole bit making fun of Thanos for being a fuckboy. You know what I mean? He's the big bad. But also, he's not a critical thinker.
Right. Right. All right. We got to keep pressing on. Derek, how are you with time? I can definitely go an extra like 15 because I
can go another
Mando.
15. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Another 15.
So we have one more sizzle reel to talk about, a video game announcement, which we will spend basically no time on because there's nothing to say besides it's announced. And then go into Mando. So Miss Marvel is the last sizzle reel they released. I gotta say, and this might feed into Derek's just hatred of most things. This sizzle reel felt like it pandered so fucking hard. Like and look, don't get me wrong. When you're doing a story about a person of color or even a woman character, it's important to make sure that the person writing that story is coming from a similar point of view, someone who actually knows what that walk of life is like, someone who's been in those shoes, because otherwise you can't tell an honest story from that perspective. I can't write a story for Miss Marvel. I'm not Pakistani. I'm not a woman.
You're not, Chris?
I'm surprisingly, no, I am not. Despite this porcelain skin, I am not. And they were like sizzle reel and they showed a couple quick snippets of footage. And by all counts, it looks like it might be fun. We know Kamala Khan from the intro to the Avengers game. I love personally her relationship with her father and her family and kind of her idolation of the Avengers. And it's kind of what makes her a unique character in the MCU because we kind of get like the fanboy perspective from her. Mm-hmm. And that all looks fine. But they were like, the sizzle reel just felt like, look at all these women involved and look at all these people from Pakistan that are writing for the show. And I just like, I don't know. It felt, I don't know why it hit me this way, but it just felt distasteful almost.
It was disingenuous.
It was like the all female character shot from Endgame. It's the same feeling. I was just like, ugh. Okay, one, I'm glad that this is happening, and I think it should continue to happen. But being like, look what we did. We cast these people. It just felt like Disney was
inclusive of us.
Yeah, it felt like Disney was just, they had a back scratcher and they're like, oh yeah, look what the fuck we did. Oh yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? Like,
obviously the only move is to not showboat about it and let the final product speak for itself, and then praise the actors and writers and directors involved for their work. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I get where you're coming from. Like, I didn't even catch that watching it. Mostly there's so much news to go over. I was honestly just like at 2 a.m. bloodshot eyes, watching everything and reading everything.
It felt a little like, oh, if you're Pakistani or a woman, you better like this show because it's
like, I'm neither, and I'm really excited for it. I hope I'm allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It definitely it's I think you hit the nail on the head to stop my stammering. It's like if they hadn't come out of the gate with the first look doing this, it would be different. But it's almost like Disney going, look how diverse we are. Ooh.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They just did the same thing with Patty Jenkins. Like,
yeah.
Did you know my dad's dead? Like, no one asked you, Patty. Just
please. Patty, it's 9 a.m. Please.
Yeah.
Go mourn by yourself at the cemetery. No,
but it's like just make a good movie. Like, I don't need to know what your emotional attachment is to it. If I want to, I'll read an interview of you once you're done directing it, talking about where your inspiration came from. It's just like the news cycle is backwards now. They're pivoting and telling you why you should like something before they even start filming it, instead of getting you excited about the product. Like, well, here's why a woman should direct. It's like, well, if she's a great director, then fuck yeah. I don't give a shit about anything other than whether the final product is going to be something that's true to the source material and an interesting ride to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's like this weird juxtaposition where there's so many like diehard fanboys who just scream about every opportunity that's stolen from a man in quotation marks, that they kind of feel like they have to be proactive about it now, I guess, and try to like get like a certain amount of people on board before they start filming for something. I don't understand the
and to be clear, like for anyone listening, like we're not mad that like people of color and that women are working on this. It's that you would like make that your selling point when you initially come out of the gate. Yeah. It's just clear that you're trying to like have like a press moment to show what a beacon of inclusivity you are. It's just kind of yucky. Right. Just like it defeats the purpose of doing that to begin with.
It feels very corporate and disingenuous in a way that something like this should not. It should be celebrated, but I don't know. There's something about the way it was presented in which it just made me feel bad. And I said it earlier, but because of what Derek said, it does bear repeating. Like, absolutely, this should happen more often. More writers in Hollywood should be diverse from different groups of people, because you cannot capture those viewpoints without having those diverse I don't want white guys writing for every other character in Hollywood. It's shitty. It's not the right way to do it. But this just was presented in a way that felt gross.
Yeah, it's like when TD Bank changes their logo to the Pride flag in Pride Month.
Yeah,
like,
for 28 days, and then they're like, all right, we're done with that
you guys are real allies. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, it just feels like it's a move made based. And the way not to say that, it's the way they present it is it's like it's a PR stunt.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it made me feel.
Yeah, and that to me it just make something, like, make good content. You know, trust your directors and your actors and your writers, and stop patting yourself on the back before the product even started production. Like,
right. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, video game announcement. BioWare has announced that Mass Effect 4, not Andromeda 2, not some other new franchise, actual continuation of the original Mass Effect trilogy is in works at BioWare. We have no other news besides that, other than my love mommy Liara is going to be involved, and oh boy, I can't wait to have some blue alien sex. No other clue what it's about. The announcement trailer was cool. No release date, no nothing. We previously talked about problems at BioWare, people leaving. I don't know what that says to me about this. It certainly doesn't make me overly optimistic about it, but I want to spend as little time on this as possible because I have things to say about Mando. Derek, Scott, any thoughts about the Mass Effect 4
we also have
announcement?
a moratorium on spoilers for Mass Effect. I just want to remind.
Oh, true. So
everyone.
that even less. Yeah.
Yeah. I have absolutely nothing to say about it.
Okay. Very good.
I can tell you, Veronica's very excited. We were like really like flaccid dicked for the entire Game Awards, and then of course they showed that right at the end, and she screamed like an insane person. And like one of the first things she said was like, "Oh, that's Chris's girl. That's her." I was like, all right.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm excited. That's it.
Oh, so Ron listens to the podcast every week?
She does. Yeah, she does.
Hey, Ron. Hey, appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, I don't have
somebody
any
who loved me and supported me and nurtured my passions the way you do. What's that like?
Wow. I don't have any kind of weird fetishes, but I'm just saying I would turn into Homelander with Liara in a heartbeat if she was real. Anyway, moving right along from
yeah, you're gonna laser her tits.
Laser her tits. Yeah.
No, it means I would drink mama's milk. That's all.
Oh, ew! Would it be that blue milk like Luke drank?
Yes, that's actually where it comes from. It's canonical. Moving on, Mandalorian, the latest episode, season 7, the penultimate episode of this season just came out. It starred Bill Burr as a returning guest as Mayfield, and boy, howdy, did I fucking love this episode.
Was it a joy, Chris?
It was a fucking joy, Scott.
Oh,
and,
damn. Every time. It's the same. It's the same every time.
It doesn't matter like how he starts the sentence. It always ends with the same joy.
Yeah.
You can shout it.
It was a fucking joy, Scott. Okay, so they I've said this like 5 times in just this podcast episode, but I loved this episode so much for the same reasons I loved Rogue One, for the same reasons I'm interested in Andor. This is one of those things where they fucking got me, boys. And I won't go into heavy spoilers because we like to do the round robin. We don't have too much time, but there's the whole time they dressed up as stormtroopers. They're trying to break into this thing. They're trying to get codes from an Imperial terminal. It's the whole gist of the episode, right? They recruit Bill Burr to do it because Mayfeld was an Imperial and should still be able to get into the database. Right. There's a couple cool themes that happen throughout, but in my opinion, the best one or the most well executed one was the locals are destroying these transports, right? Fighting back against the Empire. But we're on Mando's side. We need Mando to succeed because Baby Yodes is at stake. So he's fighting off these locals, and the whole time you're cheering and you're happy about it. And and then they get to the bridge and the stormtroopers show up as cavalry. And I was like, yeah. And then I went, oh, yeah. I'm literally cheering for the
space Nazis.
Oh,
yeah.
You fucking got me.
Look at you.
You just had me cheering for the Empire. And I'm literally, all of a sudden my brain flipped like a switch turned on. And I went, I'm literally,
Berlin 1937, huh? Yeah.
Right. I'm literally.
How do you feel now, bro?
I'm literally cheering on the people that
how
are
do you feel
destroying.
about the occupation of Warsaw? I'm just curious.
Shut up. I literally am cheering on. I gotta get through.
Have you ever seen Schindler's
List,
Chris?
I have. And I don't. Whatever.
Whoa. All right.
Wait. Yeah.
I was just passing by. I've literally realized we're cheering the destruction of these people's homelands, and they're not pirates. They're not bad people. They're trying to get rid of the fucking empire. These are people we should be rooting for. The episode did a great job. I don't know. There's a lot of cool shit in this episode. The fighting was great.
Yeah.
Mayfeld's character development was good. I'll stop because we're running low on time here. Scott, how did you feel about episode 7?
I loved it. I didn't think that anything could come close to how much I loved episode 5 and 6 this season. This one was a really close contender. Obviously, it's not going to match the excitement of seeing Ahsoka or Boba Fett back on screen for the first time.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. But Migs Mayfield is a really interesting character. Like seeing like that whole standoff scene where they're sitting across the table from that dude. What's his name?
Oh, it's great.
Richard Brake, right? The guy from 31. That Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah.
He's
guy's horrifying.
He was also Joe Schill in Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, that was him.
He's an incredible actor. He plays the best scumbags.
Mm-hmm.
He really does.
This episode for me is somebody who loves the Star Wars video games. I know Battlefront 2 was mired with controversy. And the microtransactions killed that game out the gate. Even after they corrected it, that game didn't have half of the online community would have had because of those early reviews and the early like boycott of that game. But there is a story, like a single player story in that game that centers around Operation Cinder, and we see Bill Burr's character Mayfield react in response to Operation Cinder, which was Shev Palpatine's basically in case of emergency break glass. Yeah. When you break glass, it's orbital defense systems that destroy all of his enemies and his allies that should have had his back, and he feels didn't. So we see. Yeah,
it was basically like a fuck you on the way out the door.
Yeah. And during Operation Cinder, you watch in the campaign of Battlefront 2, you watch from the perspective of a stormtrooper who turns to a rebel, watching their fellow Imperial officers struck down by Operation Cinder, watching entire worlds. Like, I don't know if Naboo is canonically destroyed, but it is absolutely ravaged, like devastated by Operation Cinder amongst other planets. And to watch Bill Burr have that Inglorious Bastards moment where he's losing fucking shit, dude.
I was gonna say that too. Dude, like, high fives all around.
Just what, like, it is a testament to how great an actor I think Bill Burr. Like, he can't get around the accent. I get it. He's from Boston. It's like ingrained in his DNA. He can't.
It makes it better though. It really makes it better.
But just watching him, like, understanding that he doesn't give a shit about Star Wars, even in the capacity that we do. For him, it's just for him, it's just a chance to show off his acting chops, and that's exactly what he does, dude. Like, you watch him break, you watch his face, and then we get this incredible, awesome action sequence wrapped up with him, like showing off what a marksman he actually was. To reiterate, I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise ass, and we're full circle. And dude, I love Bill Burr, man. I was hoping he would be sticking around for the next episode, but I really hope we see more Migs Mayfield in season 3 and 4 and so on.
Yeah. That whole right before Derek goes, that I was gonna say Inglorious Bastards, it felt like a PG version of Inglorious Bastards, and I did not expect him to actually kill the fucking guy, and when he did, I think me and my wife were both like, oh yes, it was so satisfying. Get him a fucking blaster shot through that guy's fucking chest because he deserved it. I forgot about the Cinder reference. That was a good catch.
It's so good. It's
Derek, how'd you feel about it?
Pretty much this, like, mine is really quick actually. I feel like I was going to make the Inglorious Bastards cross reference as well.
Sorry.
But, you know, the another Tarantino film that it reminded me of is when he does finally shoot the guy. It felt a lot like when Dr. King kills fucking Candy in Django Unchained. Like, he says some racist shit, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck this guy, and he just shoots him. Dude, it felt exactly like that. I was like, same thing. Me and Veronica were like, fuck yeah. Like, we were so amped. We were so fucking hyped for that. And then that next shot was just hilarious where he, like, sees the other stormtrooper and he just, like, leans back and shoots him too. So good.
For a second, the way the stormtrooper cocks his head, I thought they were going to be like, man, I didn't like that guy.
Yeah, we hated him.
But, like, Bill Burr genuinely looks like surprised that he's like, oh, fuck, I did that. Then he has to keep going.
It's like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, we're seeing Bill Burr, like, he's gone through a lot of changes, right? Like, he had a kid. He said in his previous 2 stand-ups that he has, like, these rage issues that he's trying to get rid of. We saw him star in King of Staten Island. He did great in that. I think that we're seeing him go. He always did these very, like, fucking ancillary, like, temporary roles in shows and movies that he's been in. And now we're seeing him actually, like, I think we're seeing him realize like, I can do this. Like maybe I'm a better actor than I'm giving myself credit for. I thought that like that whole scene, that Inglourious Bastard scene where he's talking to whatever the hell his name was.
That was so good.
And you can just see him in his head. Like you can see the snap, the moment before he draws his fucking blaster. It was excellent. The whole thing was fucking incredible. He was great. And next week we have the finale. I can't fucking wait for it.
I can't either. There was, like you said, there's a lot of, you can literally see the torment on his face watching this guy talk about this stuff. And then he kind of just goes blank and you can tell that like he's done. You're going to fucking die, bro. And so satisfying.
What was crazy is that like, obviously like Din has his helmet off for all this. And it's overshadowed by Burr's performance. Like, you know what I mean?
We didn't even mention that.
Yeah. Like honestly, I am predisposed to love anything Bill Burr does because I'm a huge fan of his stand-up comedy and just him as a personality. Yeah, I love him when he's being candid in interviews. I think he's just a very realistic person, and he's not afraid to call anybody on their bullshit and treat everybody equally. So when I see him doing something where he's very clearly stealing the show, it just gets me so excited. I want more reasons to love him, and he doesn't make it difficult, especially with his run as Mig so far. Like he's even more flushed out now. You see him go from this he's kind of a bad guy in season 1, and you see him do the right thing here, and he even like has that moment where he looks at Mando. He's like I'm just trying to clear out some of the closet or whatever he says. He has that throwaway line that he references earlier about we all got to sleep at night. So he has that little line. He's like trying to make it a little easier to sleep at night. So he blows up those volatile explosives that were going to be used to attack locals on that planet. Mm-hmm. So essentially, the people who were trying to kill him with thermal detonators for the first 20 minutes of the episode, his final act in that episode before he leaves is to protect those people just because it's the right thing to do, even though they just tried to murder him on their entire, cannonball run into this refinery.
Right.
So it was really cool, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool shit going on. I mean, they really fleshed out. They made his character such like everybody is shades of gray, including this guy. He used to be an Imperial sniper. I mean, but he's obviously not a bad person deep down. He's trying to do the best he can like you said, trying to sleep at night, trying to do whatever you can to make sure it's a little easier to sleep.
Yeah.
And I fucking loved it. Like I said, I mean, fleshing out those characters in the Star Wars universe is one of my great joys to fucking behold on the screen. Yeah, I know.
That was a sneaky one.
That had a different little vibe.
Yeah, there was a different demeanor, different delivery. But
I didn't like
that
it.
being
do the other one. Do the other one.
Oh, I didn't like it. That being said, we got to wrap this bad boy up because this is a mega sized episode. We're like 245 on the recorded, big beef and honker, if you will.
There's some giant old gear, goth pierced got titties.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you wanna reach out to us, questions@thecynicalnerd.com for an email, or you can tweet at us at the Schmegnerd, SHMEG nerd. Hashtag AskTCN, ask us a question. No one's asking us questions, and we want to answer them.
Yeah.
With all the snark that we can muster. Yeah. So please feel free to ask away. My name is Chris. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at TCNplays. Scott, how about you?
My name is Scott. You can find me at Swearwolf on twitch.tv/Swearwolf with an E. That's SWEARWOLFE. Also on YouTube and Facebook gaming, but let's be honest, nobody gives a shit about either of those.
How about you, Derek?
My name is Jorge, and you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD.
I'm always relieved that he goes last because his voice is just like butter covered in chocolate. Like if you could deep fry butter in chocolate without melting the butter.
It's like Morgan, you could do it.
Yeah, it's like Morgan Freeman narrating Planet Earth. Like, just put me to sleep, Daddy, with your dulcet tones. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for hanging out. It's been episode 12. Probably up Shill battle. We'll figure it out later.
Right.
You guys have a good night.
Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn.
Oh damn! No, that's good. I feel like that's the one actually.
Yeah. Children of the. Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk to you next time.
See you guys
later.